KSL News Time, 9:01.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Most families get their financial advice in pieces. A financial advisor here, a CPA there, an estate attorney somewhere else. Everyone means well, but nobody's talking to each other, and those gaps can work against you. Trajan Wealth's family office brings wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning together, not as separate conversations, but as one coordinated system built around your life, your goals, and the people who matter most. Ours is a true family office, not one that refers you out because it's convenient. This kind of dedicated collaboration used to require a 7-figure net worth, but here's the game changer. Trajan kicked that door open. Trajan advisors are fiduciaries, always obligated, always honored to act in your best interest. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax.
Picture this. You pull into your driveway, and for the first time in a long time, you will love what you see. Beautiful new siding, bright energy-efficient windows, gutters that protect your home year-round, and a deck that makes the backyard feel brand new. Not someday, not after one more year. With RGS Exteriors, the home you've been wanting can start today.
Hi, Tim Brown here, RGS Exteriors. My family has been building and improving homes in Utah for 5 generations, and taking care of homeowners is something we take very serious. With over 1,300 5-star Google reviews, 21 Best of State awards, and our 10-year workmanship warranty, homeowners know they can trust RGS. Over 200,000 families across Utah have trusted RGS Exteriors with their home, and so can you. Schedule your free estimate today at 801-280-3110, 801-280-3110.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Cormac Bone.
Heaviest delays on northbound I-15 start at 4500 south and reach up to 13th south. It is still a little slow at the south interchange as well. Eastbound on the 201 freeway, some regular congestion between I-215's West Belt and I-15. And in Utah County, a little delay on northbound I-15 approaching Pleasant Grove Boulevard, but it's heavier in Lehigh, eastbound on 2100 north from Redwood Road over to I-15. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the high will hit a more modest 92 degrees before it kicks up to over 100 for most of the weekend, only dropping back into the high 90s on Monday. Right now, it's 70 degrees and sunny. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Okay, well, if you're not coughing this morning, you're probably clearing your throat or blowing your nose because the air quality is just so mucky outside right now.
Yeah, you can see it. You can sort of almost feel the air, but with the amount of poor air quality days we get in the summer from fires or winter from the inversion, how will our bodies adapt and when will our bodies adapt? That's probably a pipe dream, really.
But it is a good question. With all this gunk in the air, it can spell real trouble for people. So what can we do about it? That's our question this hour of the show. How are you adapting to the poor air quality today? Text us 57500.
You know, one thing I learned last week, I don't remember if you were here or not, but there was some concern with with one of the people we interviewed about air quality, that even indoors people were not appreciative of the fact that, or maybe didn't appreciate the fact that even indoor air quality can be really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Just going inside doesn't cure the problem necessarily.
I mean, you can even have good filters, but you can still have some of that smoke and even some of the ash that can make it through. So, look, we know that there are lots of really big wildfires. I think the sky was a little more clear today, but there's, of course, the big Wide Mouth 2 fire in Utah. There's the big one up in Spokane. That is burning, it's burning, I think, over 8,000 acres, but ours right here, the Wide Mouth Fire, 68,000 acres. So we're getting all of that smoke. And what's interesting to me is what people get concerned about from the smoke and what they actually want to do about it. So my husband gets headaches. He's like, I can tell there's smoke in the air because it gives me a headache.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, it makes a difference because normally in the weekends I'll go outside or ride my bike, run, do something outside, take the canoe, and you're feeling a little uncomfortable doing that. Even up in the valley where I live, it's bad. They say that you can do things like wearing those N95 masks that we all wore during COVID, but those you can't really exercise with those.
Right. So we know that there are sensitive groups or people that are more sensitive. So people who have asthma or lung disease. COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. You got to be a little more careful. But I think what's interesting to me is I don't see a lot of behavior change, and maybe it's just because the people around me don't change behavior, but I wonder how much people do change their behavior when it's really smoky outside.
You know, early in the morning, it just feels like it's a little better. The cool air almost seems like a cleaner air. I don't know that it necessarily is, but when it gets hot, it just gets bad. I went with a group golfing over the weekend. We went really early, and it was beautiful. But by the time we were finishing up around 10:30 or 11, it was getting a little tight. We were glad to get off the course.
Was it the air quality or was it the heat?
The heat, which I think the heat exacerbates the air quality. I don't know. I may be wrong about that, but it just seems like hotter air is gunkier air.
I think one of the things that we see is that it's, for most people, if you're going to have an impact from it, it's a slower and maybe more long term. So, for example, I know bad air quality has been associated with, for example, premature births. But it's not that it has one day of bad air quality and suddenly you go into labor, right? It's not like that.
Yeah, when we talked about indoor air, there are some recommendations that are made here that I'm noticing. Just a couple just to talk about. Close the windows and turn on the air conditioner. Obviously, that makes sense if you have one. Setting it to circulate the indoor air. Use blankets to cover cracks that allow outside air into your home, such as under the doors. So plug it up a little bit. Swapping the air conditioner's filter for what they call a MERV 13 filter. Those are a little more high-quality ones. Even make sure it's installed correctly. And if you happen to have access to an air purifier, even if it's just a room air purifier, try to keep it running in the room that you're doing most of the work that you're doing. So get one of those air purifiers if you can. I mean, there are things you can do to make your life inside more comfortable.
We do have a texter who tells us that rather than jog, they just walk, and not as long, but they need the exercise. So that they're out there.
That's a smart listener.
Yeah,
I mean,
still participating.
People don't realize how much benefit you can get just by getting out and walking, especially if you walk at a little brisk pace.
So one of the things, too, that I saw from the fire, the Cottonwood fire, there were people that felt like they had to cover their air conditioner because there was so much ash in the air. It was sucking it to the inside. I don't anticipate that an air conditioner can work if you've got it covered.
No. Just the opposite. You really burn out the motor if you do something like that. So if you cover it, that's fine. Just don't turn it on.
Right. So this seems to be kind of a new normal for Utah. I know, like, for what you were just saying about the heat, like if I had little kids, which I don't right now, but if I had little kids and I was thinking about letting them go outside to play, I honestly would probably be more worried about the heat and burning their little legs on a playground slide than I would about the air quality. So I think it's it's certainly a discussion, and I will say for myself, I rarely change behavior because of what I see or even the numbers that I'm hearing about air pollution in Utah.
I don't change much of my life either. You're right. The heat does make you a little more conscious, and I don't get out as much. I'll say this also: Utah has, because of the way that it's set up with the valleys. If you think of the Cache Valley, you think of the Salt Lake Valley. In the winter, you get those inversions, which cause gunky, messy air, and in the summers, you get the smoke that just settles in. So we have terrible air quality here in Utah, but it's somewhat a factor of the geography of the state, the way it's set up, as much as it is the pollution. But it does create a real problem here in Utah.
Yeah. We have another texter that says that they have 2 kids under 7 and that they have 5 autoimmune diseases plus severe asthma, so they stay inside as much as possible and use their inhaler. So that is something, of course, that's where you're going to be extra sensitive to it because you feel it. I'm
like you, though. I know I see the air. I know it's bad. I know I shouldn't be out in it, but I don't really notice a problem with it. I mean, I guess I should be more careful. And I think the N95 mask makes sense. I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, we still have a zillion of them. But, go outside and just if you're working in the yard or something, just put one on.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I told you, my husband gets headaches from the smoke. And I'm like, I don't even know if there's smoke in the air. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, I can feel it.
If you can feel it, yeah.
And there's some people, they get itchy eyes and a scratchy throat. So it's more like allergies, which is interesting because I've had... And my son-in-law has had some allergy symptoms recently, and maybe it is the air and not so much the pollen. That's interesting. I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, and so Utah right now, we seem to still have some fires, but the smoke that we're getting is coming from north. From
on the Wasatch Front. We're coming from Washington and Oregon.
Idaho. Yeah, right. Storms up there that are blowing down here, and of course they're getting their bad air quality from Canada. So it's it's not.
Well, you've got that over in the Midwest and even on the East Coast, the Canadian fires. So, look, we're in fire season for sure. We know that. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later on our show. But we've had 751 fires so far this year. We just barely, I guess we're 7 months in. I mean, so we're past the halfway point, but we're, a good 3 months out from snow.
Yeah. We're at least 3 months, maybe 4 or 5. And this weekend's supposed to be 100 degrees all weekend.
Okay, well, while we deal with the heat and bad air now, a lot of us are looking towards winter and whether we actually will have a decent snowy season. So increasing chances for a super El Nino are giving us a little bit of hope. Details on what we should start to expect over the winter months coming up next on Inside Sources.
Well, summer is wrapping up, and so is SOTA's 4 weeks offer. This is the last time for the summer. Grab it before the summer is over. No injections, no awful side effects, just a natural way to lose weight. Call SOTA, 866-800-SOTA. Mention this radio station, KSL News Radio, and you will get 4 weeks free. That's 866-800-SOTA, S-O-T-A. Mention KSL News Radio to get 4 free weeks. You can get weight off as much as you want. There's not something that's just for quick fixes. It's something that will keep the weight off as long as you'd like. The nutritionist will help you get to the root causes of your challenges. You learn lifelong habits that last after the program is done. No medications, no pills. Just call 866-800-SOTA. Mention KSL News Radio. Get 4 weeks free. I signed up in April. I lost almost 30 pounds, and I've kept it off for the 4 months since then, and I plan to keep it off as long as I can. SOTA has been great for me. It'll be great for you, too. Say it with me. SOTA is state of the art.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone's stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy. It got so bad, I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't concentrate. I absolutely refused to let any of my friends come to our house for any reason. I would have been humiliated if anyone found out how much my dad drank and how loud my mom screamed at him. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful. The only thing that happened is my mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. Her relationship with my dad really changed. I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I wanted to see if I could have a better relationship with my dad. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
Really ugly clouds coming over from the north.
A place
The ridgeline is imposing, the escarpments, the drops.
where survival
It's dark now. I have nothing.
is never certain.
This is not good.
My name's Dave Cawley, and I'm the host of a podcast called Uinta Triangle. It's about the disappearance of an Australian hiker named Eric.
Our conclusion, and that of the sheriff, is that the mountains have decided to keep him.
Come retrace Eric's footprints with me.
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard.
Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
He is not the first or last person to vanish in this remote region.
It was haunting to see the photos. I mean, really.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle. That's Uinta, spelled U-I-N-T-A, Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts. All episodes out now.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
Well, you're looking outside, and we're talking about the weather. We're still in the heat of summer, but I'm always looking at my skis when I pull in my garage, and I'm thinking about winter. And if looking forward to winter, is there going to be a little colder? It might be a little wetter in the next coming months. We're going to find out.
So, KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson is in studio with us. Hi, Matt. To talk about the increasing chances of a super El Nino. But before we get to that, can we talk about air quality? Is there any relief in the immediate future?
You know, it's going to kind of, and we've seen this from yesterday to today, the concentration levels kind of come and go, kind of ebb and flow a little bit, but it won't fully lift out of here. And that's kind of what I'm seeing in the future here as we head through midweek and even into the late week, is we'll probably see days where it's looking a little better. And then the next day, it's not looking too hot. And so that kind of comes from just the wind flow pattern out of the west.
And we're by no means through with the 100-degree days, even along the Wasatch Front, are
Nope.
we?
We've got more headed in this weekend, 3 or 4 days of triples. So I think our count on the summer right now is somewhere around like 12 days of triples. So if we add these 3, that's 15.
Is that the norm? Or is that more than the norm?
Well, yeah, it's,
Is it?
so the 30-year normal is 8.
Oh, wow.
But since 2020 till now, it's somewhere around 15 to 17.
Oh, wow.
So just within the last 5 to 6 years, we've been averaging
A lot more.
A lot more.
Yeah.
I was watching your forecast this morning on television, and you had a couple days this weekend that were red, and one day in St. George and 2 along the Wasatch Front. Are those days that you're expecting a record high?
If the number's red, it's 10 degrees above normal.
Okay.
And if the number's blue, it's 10 below normal.
Okay.
Because usually that, independent of what the season is, if it's red or blue, that means it'll, for that time of year, feel either hot or cold to the human body.
I liked the temperature this morning when I went outside. It was a little on the cooler side, so that was good.
That was nice.
So tell us about Super El Nino, what it means, how is it different than a regular El Nino year? I don't even know.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of hope surrounding this El Nino because some of our biggest snow years, as you well know, 83 was a strong El Nino or a super El Nino year. And basically El Nino, a crash course here is a condensed version would be that when we look at the equatorial Pacific off the coast of South America, there's a specific region out there that we watch, and depending on whether that's warmer than normal or cooler than normal, that tells us whether it's El Nino or La Nina, respectively. Now, the stronger the signal or the warmer the water is, the stronger the El Nino. We've found that what happens in that portion of the world, in that ocean, actually plays into what happens with the jet stream across the globe. And then from there, we can draw conclusions roughly on what will happen here in the Western United States.
So does a super make it extra warm?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Makes it. They're basically saying, so this is the water we're seeing is not only above normal, but way above normal. Oh. And so that usually
the water we're expecting.
Yes. Yep. We're expecting a super El Nino, and that usually accentuates what will happen with the weather pattern this upcoming fall.
So by water, do you mean in the form of snow or rain or maybe some combination? Because with the rising air temperature makes me concerned about whether some of it will not be snow like we like to have in the mountains.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying that. Yeah, typically El Nino is associated with a warmer pattern,
right?
Though wetter. Yes, correct. And so that is a bit of a concern, right? Is that on average, when we talk about average appearances of El Ninos in the West, yes, it usually is a little more on the mild side, but on the wetter side. And so if the storms don't develop just right, it may end up being more of a valley rain, mountain snow deal, or even high mountain snow deal. And so that's something to consider as well. It's not always guaranteed heavy snow, but we have seen it perform in the past and give us big snows, and that's why sometimes there's a loose correlation between, it's El Nino and big snow year.
Right.
So just a couple of years ago, we had that record snow. It felt like, I think there was something like 600 inches at Alta, something like that. Last year, we had no snow. I know you want to be hopeful.
Right.
Is there actual reason to be hopeful that we could see maybe above average snowfall this year in Utah?
You know, and I did a little research on that actually a few months ago when we first started discovering that a super El Nino would be emerging this fall and winter. And to answer your question, yes, there is I call it a loose correlation because there's just not a ton of data in the last 40 to 50 years since we've been tracking these events more seriously. But if I'm not mistaken, I should have looked up these numbers before, but it's basically 3 of the last 4 super El Ninos, not El Ninos, but very strong, or also known as super El Ninos, we have received above normal snowpack, with some of those years being very above normal snowpack, which was our second snowiest year ever in the mountains, which was 82, 83. And so I say loose because, one, we don't have a huge sample size, but there just aren't a lot to sample because we haven't been tracking them closely since 82, 83. That's what started this whole thing of tracking these and naming these, is because 82, 83 threw everyone for a loop and said, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Okay, let's get some buoys. Let's start measuring out in the Pacific. Let's measure everything and find what's causing this. And so now we say, weak to moderate to strong to super strong El Niños, it was all because of 83 that led to all this research. And so there's correlation, but it's not a guarantee because our sample size is so small, but it is over the span of 40, 50 years.
And I suppose, Matt, that it can also be a little bit geographical. Like maybe Colorado gets slammed, or maybe some of the, southern Utah resorts get slammed, or Montana, maybe the Wasatch Front doesn't. I mean, those are sort of hit and miss too, guesses, aren't they?
Right. And what really speaks to this as well when we talk about these oscillating patterns is that our recent most snowiest year on record in the mountains, that was a strong La Nina. That was not El Nino.
Really?
That was a strong, yes. And so
when we just had a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
22-23 was a strong La Nina. And what I'm trying to say with that is it's not an exact science.
Right.
It's kind of like the medical field.
Right.
It's trial and error. It's let's find correlations, but it's not perfect.
Yeah.
What we can draw from El Nino, usually wetter, usually milder on the West Coast. Usually the hope here in Utah is that we get those storms to move inland. Typically, the correlation is much stronger for southern Utah to pick up above normal precip. Northern Utah, it's been more of a gamble with these El Nino events, but I would plan on a more active West Coast, milder temperatures, and then here's my side of it: the hope that we get these things inland to Utah and they hold together.
So I remember talking to you last October is because we were heading into October. It was really dry, and then we had a very, very wet October and then nothing. When should we hopefully look for the normal weather pattern for fall where it starts to be rainier, even snowier?
Right. Well, and there's some, we'll call it fun research done around this, that typically during El Niños or strong El Niños, there's almost a delay.
Oh, wow.
So October, November can be quiet. And then as you get into late December and beyond, that's when we finally get things going. But once again, it's not a given. It's not set in stone as we're trying to tell the future here. But it's, you kind of take it with a grain of salt. This is what we could see, right? But last year's a perfect example.
Talk to you again.
Yeah.
They used to go to the Farmer's Almanac, and that's
I know, right?
Well,
I'm looking for the woolly caterpillars, and I was seeing squirrels
That's
collecting
right.
pine cones. So I'm hopeful.
That's right.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah. All right. Well, when we come back, the Widemouth 2 fire has exploded in size, and more people are on evacuation notices. At the same time, police in Washington State have arrested a man they say started one of the fires burning in and around Spokane. More Fire Watch coverage after the news, traffic, and weather.
It's 9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour. A teenager will be in secure confinement until he's 25 after he confessed to shooting and killing a man nearly a year ago. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff joins us with details.
That young man is now 16 years old. He was 15 when the shooting happened during an illegal street race near the end of August last year. Weber County Attorney Chris Allred says the teen confessed to murder and possession of a firearm. Jesus Garcia was killed, and 2 others, including Garcia's young daughter, were shot and injured. 2 others were arrested in connection to the shooting. One is serving 4 to 10 years in prison, while the case against the other is still moving through the legal system. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche facing a key committee vote today on his confirmation to the permanent post after striking a deal with outgoing Republican members John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, who demanded he provide written assurances of changes to a sweeping deal settling President Trump's $10 billion IRS lawsuit. That includes killing the so-called anti-weaponization fund. Senator Tillis spoke before the vote.
I've never liked this 1776 fund. It made no sense to me, and I thought it was an insult to the police officers and the people that defended us on January the 6th. It's done. It's been rescinded, and I am satisfied.
Your money at this moment, things are up there. The Dow has gained 802 points, the S&P has gained 97 points, and the NASDAQ is up 480 points. Oil is sitting at $76 a barrel. Coming up, enjoy the 90-degree temperatures while we can, because it's getting hot this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home, and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried, because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
Are you a local business tired of juggling deliveries, managing drivers, or sending valuable employees across town? There's a better way. Pigeon Ship. For more than 10 years, Pigeon Ship has provided fast, reliable, same-day and next-day delivery services for businesses throughout Utah. Whether you need a few deliveries a day or hundreds, Pigeon Ship has the network, technology, and experience to get it done on time. Auto parts, plumbing supplies, electrical components, pharmacy deliveries, and more. Utah's most successful businesses trust Pigeon Ship to keep their operations moving. Stop the stress of hiring drivers. Stop pulling employees away from their real jobs. And stop worrying about whether your deliveries will arrive on time. Join the thousands of businesses that rely on Pigeon Ship every day for dependable local delivery solutions. Visit pigeonship.com today to schedule a call and see how quickly Pigeon Ship can streamline your delivery operations. Pigeon Ship. Avoid the trip. Pigeon Ship. That's pigeonship.com. pigeonship.com.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Cormac Bone.
Northbound I-15, that's where the delays still are in place from 4500 south, reaching up to 13th south. And I think these delays built up, and so they're residual now, but there was a fire affecting the roadway near 13th south, just off on the right side at the end of the on-ramp to southbound I-15, but drivers looking over caused that delay, and it's letting it last a little further into the morning. Otherwise, we do have a disabled vehicle northbound I-15 right before the south interchange. They're out of traffic and in the left shoulder, so not causing slowdowns. Help maintain fun at Lagoon, now hiring full-time, year-round ride maintenance technicians and HVAC technicians. Apply at lagoonpark.com/jobs. Must be 18 or older. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to be in the 90s for the next few days until Friday. That's when we hit a high of 103, and we won't go back into the 90s until Monday. We do have a chance of rain next week, so we can hang on to that hope. Right now, it's 70 degrees and sunny. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio. Utah Fire Watch.
So our fires continue to cause real issues around the state, as we've been talking about. So right now we are officially at the second worst fire season for damage on record. But with the way things going, it could become the worst.
Yeah, and the latest one is this Widemouth 2 fire in southern Utah. It's really exploded. It's got several other areas that are now under evacuation notice, and the poor sheriff out there is helping with those evacuations, getting a true baptism by fire. He's only been on the job for 2 weeks.
I know, the poor guy is like, hey.
Welcome to being the sheriff.
So, Utah Fire Watch, we have a special coverage this segment on the growing fires here in the state and around the West. So one of the things that's interesting to me, the wildfire damage, right? We know with this Widemouth fire, I have to ask a question. I don't know who knows the answer to this. Why is it Widemouth 2? What's the original Widemouth fire? I don't know.
Well, it might be the zone. There may be a Widemouth and a Widemouth 2 area.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
I think we're talking about Millard County.
Yeah. It is Millard County down there. But look, the top 5 right now for fires for the most destructive wildfire damage, 2007 was the worst. It was 629,000 acres burned. And 2026, right now, we're standing at 455,471 acres. So obviously that could change. In fact, never mind. Let me update it. It's 456,176. But
I look at that chart. You pull it up every day, even though it's not sort of on the other side of the room. It literally changes every day.
I know. It does.
Sometimes it changes
every day.
During the show.
I know. Absolutely, it does.
More acreage is burned. Somebody's really keeping score on that really well.
So yesterday, they knew that this Widemouth 2 fire had increased, but they hadn't even been able to get up to measure the perimeter. And so when they finally did, they went from 30,000 to 68,000 acres overnight, basically. And it had jumped from, I think, 10 to 30 from Saturday into Sunday, and from Sunday to Monday, it went up to 68,000. So we're talking about a lot of acres burning, of course, in Utah. We know that.
Yeah, and we're talking about hot weather. We're talking about the situation with the air. I mean, everything we talk about just makes these fires worse. And they're sort of just a part of living in the, Western Hemisphere, it seems like anymore. Even in Europe, they're having those.
No, it's Europe. So Italy and France and Greece, they all have just really these catastrophic wildfires right now. So, look, I wanted to talk about the sheriff for Millard County. This poor guy.
It's not funny, but
it's Steve Ocam. He had been sheriff for 6 days when there was a lightning-sparked wildfire that began burning in the wilderness. And then 6 days later is when we got the beginning of this Widemouth 2 fire. And he's had to do evacuations. And he doesn't even have his boxes unpacked from his new office in Fillmore. Like, bless his heart.
I wonder, usually the sheriff is an elected position. He must be filling in for somebody or whatever. He must be appointed by the county there to take the job. I'm just wondering why he's only been on the job 6 days in the middle of August. It would be unusual that we put somebody in play. I know I'm getting off topic here, but poor guy, he comes in and has major things going on, and he's, they say, okay, you're in charge. What are you going to do about it? He's trying to get his people lined up and resources lined up, and it's got to be interesting for the poor guy. There's
a couple of interesting other things too that I don't know that we always think about. So we have seen that prisoners had to be evacuated from the area. It's the second time that they've had to change location, right? But because of the fire, they've wanted to do that. And
prisoners.
Then from down there from the jail. From
the Millard County Jail?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I know right where it is.
40 state inmates out of the Millard County Jail. They moved them on Sunday night.
Right.
It hasn't prompted evacuations yet, but they don't want to have to suddenly do it.
Right.
They also, we know they've burned over 100 cattle have been killed by the fire, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's these evacuations. And yesterday we were talking about what do you do if you get an evacuation order and you're told you have to leave now, or you have to be ready to go, and people are. They're getting their medications and they're getting their pets, but they're like yesterday in the story we talked about yesterday, people were grabbing butter. And
I know.
That's like,
on your way out the door, what are you going to get?
And another one is like they want to grab the special teacup. And it's like, Okay, well, I probably wouldn't prioritize those things, but you do you. That's okay. But I think it's really scary to have a fire that doubles in size overnight, especially when they're so big.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago when we had that big fire down in the Beaver area, the Cottonwood Fire, it burned a ski resort down there, Eagle Point Ski Resort, and they have just posted this, and I'm reading it, a difficult but necessary decision after extensive evaluation of the damage caused by the Cottonwood Fire. Eagle Point Resort has made the difficult decision not to operate for the 26-27 winter season.
Yeah.
The fire impacted approximately 300 acres of ski terrain, damaged 4 chairlifts, destroyed the lodge, and forever changed parts of our mountain community.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Yeah, they
literally are not going to open a ski resort this year because of the damage.
Well, I think they announced that yesterday, but one of my questions is what's the time frame to rebuild? Right? I mean, I've seen some photos of, certainly we've seen buildings that were completely destroyed. I have seen melted, at least it looks melted chairlifts. How long does it take to put something like that back together?
Well, I'm just looking at one at their website, and it said if you have a season pass, you can either get a refund or transfer it to the 27-28 season. That's just a year away. So they're
Fingers crossed, right?
They're thinking that they're going to be open in a year. So that tells me that they're optimistic that this is just a one year timeout. Damaged 4 chairlifts, not necessarily destroyed.
Right.
It destroyed the lodge. You can build that up in
but
the
I've
summer.
seen some pictures of they look like they've been at least melted and twisted metal, right? The chairlifts.
And chairlifts are not something you mess with. You know what I mean?
No.
I
don't want to get on one that's fire damaged.
200 people on it later on, and you want to make sure that cable is strong and sturdy. Yeah. I'm sure the fire doesn't hurt
Look,
it.
I do have an answer for you on the sheriff. So the sheriff who had been in place decided to step down early. So this new sheriff, Steve Ocam, he and his competitor in the primary agreed that whoever won the primary would go ahead and step in and become the sheriff. And he won with nearly 60% of the vote, and that is how he became the new sheriff just 2 weeks ago.
So they figure he's going to win the general.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't
maybe
even know if he has a competitor in the general or not.
So, that makes sense, and that was a smart and a very mature thing to do.
So we almost are out of time, but I did want to mention really briefly that there was a person who was arrested for arson on those really terrible fires up in Spokane, and that he has a previous manslaughter charge against him. Now he's been arrested for arson.
Yeah, and you hope that they take that very seriously.
All right, coming up next on Inside Sources.
Oh, I'd love to be an Oscar Mayer winner. That is what I truly like.
We have a special guest here at KSL Broadcast House. I bet you can't guess what it is. We're going to be right back.
I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Don't face the IRS alone.
I was self-employed, and I got behind on my taxes. And then 1 year became 2 years and 3 years, and $116,535.47 to be exact. It just became overwhelming. Finally, I went to another tax company, and they were more interested in how good they were than helping me. I heard about Jordan and talking to the other people who'd done and been in the same situations that I was in, and their tax problems seemed just like mine. And so I went to Jordan, and it was amazing. They were able to negotiate it down to $5,200, and life became wonderful to me.
Don't face the IRS alone. You need a tax attorney that's not afraid to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com to schedule your free consultation. That's endtaxworry.com.
I will be forever grateful.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
This is Andy Farnsworth with One Kind Act a Day's Minute of Kindness, brought to you by the Semnani Family Foundation. Sometimes things pile up and we start to feel like we're falling short. It can be overwhelming to do so much, but so little for ourselves. There is an important decision you can make. You can choose to show one kind act to yourself. You can take a break instead of slowly burning out over time. Business can lead to neglecting ourselves. If you notice someone you love needs help feeling less overwhelmed, here's a friendly reminder to make sure we support ourselves and give ourselves what we need. Whether that be listening or talking to a friend or loved one, taking a nap or going to bed early, eating a nutritious breakfast or a meal with someone, or going on a walk. When you need a break, what is one way you can show yourself one kind act? Find out more at thepowerofkind.org. That's thepowerofkind.org.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we know you're no stranger to setting big goals, whether in school, at work, or in life. And you're ready for more. At UMGC, we offer the skills-based education you need to move your career forward. Learn how to apply AI, data science, and other emerging tech. Plus, gain skills in leadership and critical thinking. You've come far. Succeed again. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Thinking about retirement? Make sure a My Social Security account is a part of your plan. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can find out if you're eligible to receive benefits, compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates, view spousal benefit estimates, and more. Plan for your future. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest, a sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
The new Inside Sources.
Hey, do you remember this song? Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. Well, guess what we're standing next to right this second?
That is what I'd really like to be.
Yeah, the Wienermobile. This is beautiful. And we've got Aiden and Lauren. Aiden, who is you're both operating and driving this thing. Lauren drove it. Tell us what it's like to drive this thing.
Driving it is really fun. We can haul buns. We're 27 feet long or 60 hot dogs. And driving it is the best job ever because people are waving, honking, smiling everywhere we go on the road. It's like a parade.
Can you take it on the freeway? Like take it on the highway? I mean, I guess you kind of have to.
Yes, sir. We're traveling the hot dog highways 365 days a year.
All right. And is it air conditioned, Aiden? Is it comfortable inside?
Yes, sir, it is. It is very comfortable in the big dog. We have air conditioning, and funnily enough, it is both of our first vehicles that has ever had CarPlay. So it's,
oh my gosh,
it's really great on the roads.
Can we see it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go inside.
You guys, I have to ask this question because it feels like, so Greg and I are both grandparents. The Wienermobile's been around for a long time. How many are there still operating today?
So we have 6 Wienermobiles in total that are still operating. Each one has a different part of the country that it goes around, just spreading joy everywhere, giving out wiener whistles, stickers. We play games at all of our events too, and it's really neat to see the Wienermobile in different parts of the country every day of the week.
All right, we're gonna go inside and describe it, what we're seeing here, okay? So it's got steps that come out, just like your minivan here. It's really this is like a deal of a lifetime. It looks like it's got seating for 6. wieners. It's got red and yellow seats. This is cool as heck, and it's just like you're and I hit my head. That's great.
If you like to
blue
sit,
sky ceilings.
Don't watch your head. Oh yeah, the blue sky ceiling.
and then our floor down there, we like to say is our mustard runway. Be careful not to slip. We get kind of messy when we eat our hot dogs around here.
That's funny. You know, I thought you should be a food truck. And look, if you are listening to us, you got to go to YouTube and watch us on the live stream right now so that you can see as well. But have you ever done a hot dog party in the Wienermobile?
Well, we don't usually do parties as we can only fit 6 people in the Wienermobile, but we do love to do rides. Especially this year, we're celebrating our 90th birthday. So we're looking out for people who are turning 90 this year. We'd love to make some
Aw.
magic. So if there's someone special in your life, or if you are turning 90, give us a shout. OscarMayer.com/Wienermobile, and we'd love to come to the party, give you a ride.
That's
celebrate
fun.
90 years, yeah.
So, Aiden, you have some events going on in Utah this week. Can you tell us about those?
Yes, we are so excited. We're going to be in Salt Lake City all of this week. And tomorrow we are going to be at the West Jordan Farmers Market from 5 to 9 p.m. And then on Saturday, we're going to be at the Linden Days Car Show in Linden from 8 to noon. And it's going to be a blast. We're going to be handing out our wiener whistles, stickers, playing games. So come by, get your Wienermobilia, take a photo with the Wienermobile. We're stoked to see you.
Your puns are so funny. Wienermorbilia, and you had your hauling buns, and we need to catch up. Okay.
So Aiden, if somebody wants a hot dog, do you guys have a truck that follows you, the food truck or something?
So normally we don't have a food truck that
Okay.
follows us. We like to say the only grill on the We don't. We just have our Wienermobilia.
Yeah.
That is so fun. So should we go back outside? Look, we're looking at the seats. They're comfy too, by the way, these captain
And
seats.
all of them are embroidered with our Wienermobile patching.
And Lauren, you're the driver.
Yes, both of us drive the Wienermobile. It's really fun. I thought that driving would be the most difficult part of the job, but they trained us really well in Hot Dog High. It's a 2-week program where we learn everything Oscar Mayer.
Because it's so long.
Yes.
I guess you got to go get gas once in a while. What's that like?
Gas is a fun experience. That was one thing that we really practiced in Hot Dog High. They set up an obstacle course with cones, and we had to learn how to navigate theoretically a really small town gas station. But normally we'll stop at a big trucker's gas station. It's us and all the semi trucks, which is funny.
And it's just the coolest experience to go to a gas station because people are filling up their tank. They're just going about regular day activities.
Amazing.
And then they see the Wienermobile and we just get to chat with everybody and smile and laugh. And it's the funniest experience.
So what's the top end? What can you do? Can you go 55, 65?
Yes, we can. If the speed limit is there, if the speed limit's 70, we're going 70.
Seriously?
We can haul buns. I swear, but safely. We'll never be speeding. You'll never catch the Wienermobile speeding.
Well, you couldn't get away with it very easily, right? It's like, yes, those guys.
Noticeable dog.
This thing
No
spec'd out really nicely. I mean, it's cool inside. It's beautiful. I just thought maybe the outside was everything, but it's just really cool inside too. And you can take sometimes you take people around.
We do, yeah. We last week or 2 weeks ago when we were in LA, we got to give a family a ride, which was really fun. Their son had built a Wienermobile soapbox car for like a derby and came to one of our events and told us all about it. And we thought this is a perfect opportunity to give someone a ride. And so we managed to work that into the schedule. And it was one of the most rewarding moments, I think, on the road.
So Aiden, what's the schedule for today? What are you doing after this?
So after today, we are just going to be driving the Wienermobile around town. We don't have a set event station that we'll be at, but we'll be heading around looking to see.
And you're
if
going
there's
to a
any
fair or festival or something tomorrow?
Yes,
Jordan, did you
tomorrow
say?
is West Jordan Farmers Market.
You know, I'm noticing that your jacket, as you have it zipped up, it's mustard and ketchup colors. And also what you said is you have a lot of people who are fans. I'm looking outside the window. There's a whole bunch of fans out there taking pictures, right? They just hop around and follow you, I think. So that's really fun. Let's go back outside if that's okay. But tell us some of your fun facts maybe about either hot dogs or the Wienermobile that people maybe not know.
Well, so I can tell you that we are 60 hot dogs long, 24 hot dogs high, and 16 hot dogs wide.
Okay.
And we are 144,000 hot dogs heavy.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We have 6 Wienermobiles traveling the country. in different regions. And then in May, we bring them together and we race them at the Weenie 500.
That's funny.
This is so cool. So you guys, this is like your gig. This is your job. This is what you do. You travel around the country.
Travel around the country. It's a year-long program being a hot dogger from June to June.
Wow.
So every year, Oscar Mayer is looking for their brand new class of hot doggers. Every November, applications open up online, and we encourage anyone to apply. Like Lauren said, it's been just the most fantastic, rewarding experience, and to be able to share that with other people is the coolest thing.
And you get a cool jacket. I mean,
Oh,
come on.
yeah.
Hot dog and mustard.
I've got a
Yes,
lot of cool stuff.
absolutely. We've got Keep It Oscar.
Keep it Oscar.
Yeah. So I have a question for you about winter. Where do you go in the winter? Do you find places that are warmer weather?
So rain or shine, the Wienermobile is traveling. Here on the West, obviously we handle snow and cold weather a little bit differently. I'm from California, so I'm used to sunny skies, but we drive the Wienermobile up north. As long as it's safe for us to be on the road, we will continue driving.
And the hat on top, does that slow you down at all? I've never noticed that before.
So the hat is a brand new addition.
I was gonna say, I've never seen it.
We don't drive with the hat, but we're putting it up at all of our events this week
Okay.
because we're celebrating our 90th birthday, just as a fun little addition when people stop and see it.
How do you get it off?
So one of us is up.
Trade secrets.
Yeah,
Trade
okay,
secrets,
all right.
exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So
Maybe your story's
90
fun.
years. 90 years of Oscar Mayer hot dogs, or 90 years of the Wienermobile.
90 years of the Wienermobile. It was first created in 1936. We've had a lot of variations since then. This one is not the 1936 dog. I don't think they had CarPlay back then. But the Wienermobile has been around for a long time, making people smile.
Hey, Aiden, last words.
Last words. We are so excited to be here in Salt Lake City. Come out to the West Jordan Farmers Market tomorrow. Come out to the Linden Days Car Show. We cannot wait to meet. That's MEAT, all of you, and it's going to be a great time.
It'll be buns and buns of fun.
All right,
Buns and
Aiden
buns of
Laura,
fun.
well, thanks for giving us a tour. I've always wanted to be in the Wienermobile, and that was sort of a bucket list thing now.
Well, and weenie whistles, right? Because you remember that from the movie Santa Claus. You've got the weenie whistles.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, if you guys would like.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll take a weenie whistle. Look, see our own.
All right, but we got to blow the weenie whistle, don't we?
Of course you do.
All right, so here we go. First I got to open it. Lauren, you could help me out. Does it matter? It looks like
The back
right-
end of the
yes.
dog, yeah.
All right, the weenie whistle. Goals, weenie whistle goals.
And then we sing the song again.
Oh, can you play your horn?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You got to listen to the horn.
Yeah,
This is cool.
because it sings better than I do. Keep it
Oh,
going.
come on. That is what I'd really like to be. As if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would fall in love with me. Okay, look, see? Okay, we'll be right back with Inside Sources.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour. Investigators are now asking a judge to sign off on a search warrant that would yield more evidence in the case of a murdered Utah National Guardsman. The newly unsealed request for a warrant says Matthew Johnson hid a camera in his home, and there's a chance it captured his murder. Johnson's estranged wife, Jennifer Gledhill, is accused of shooting him in his sleep and then cleaning up the scene. She's in custody, charged with his murder. Johnson's body has never been found. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche is facing a key committee vote today for his confirmation to the Permanent Justice Department position. Ranking Senate Judiciary Committee member Dick Durbin spoke before the vote.
Prior to this hearing, Mr. Blanche told me he, quote, made a mistake, close quote, by creating the January 6th slush fund. Where did he say it? In my office, with witnesses, my staff, to what I'm about to say. When I asked him about this under oath, Mr. Blanche falsely claimed that he never made this statement. That's not true. Mr. Blanche's willingness to casually lie under oath about a statement he made in a room full of witnesses shows the lengths he will go to avoid offending President Trump.
Durbin says the political escapade of the last week has made it clearer than ever that Todd Blanche has no business serving as our nation's chief law enforcement officer. Your money at this moment, things have taken another uptick. The Dow gaining 875 points. That's more than 1.5%. The S&P gaining 111 points. Once again, almost 1.5%. And the NASDAQ up 532 points, and that's over 2%. Oil at $75 a barrel right now. Coming up, we're actually below average today for our temperature. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Progressive provides protection for your boat and other outdoor vehicles so you can explore new things.
Oh, I can finally try pesto.
We meant like water skiing.
I've just never had pesto.
Or maybe take the boat somewhere new.
I mean, is pesto spicy or sweet? Oh, guess we'll find out, right?
Right. Bundle home or auto insurance with your boat, RV, or motorcycle and stay protected with Progressive while you explore.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for pesto.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and I've been a fan of Hale Center Theater from the very beginning. But there is something about this season that is just off the charts. Maybe it's due to the 3 stages now, which accommodate an amazing variety. Take, for example, showing right now on the Beehive stage, Thornton Wilder's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel and Tony Award-winning play is an absolute must-see. It's Our Town. This is a touching story focusing on 2 families in a small town, the sorrows, the joys, the reflections of lives well lived. And then, coming up, we've got Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. The music, the staging, the pure fun of it makes Joseph an all-time favorite. And in mid-August, it's Moriarty. This is the time for you to lock down your tickets for all of the wonderful productions at Hale Center Theater. And all you have to do is go to hct.org.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Cormac Bone.
We do still see a disabled vehicle northbound I-15 just before the south interchange. They are out of traffic and in the left shoulder, so no delays behind them. But North 15 is still a little slow at 4500 south up to the I-80-201 interchange. And we do still have a disabled vehicle on southbound I-215's west belt just after 1700 north. Also out of traffic in the right shoulder, so no slowdowns behind them either. Need fast, reliable local delivery? Let Pigeon Ship handle it. Same day and next day delivery service trusted by Utah businesses for over 10 years. Stop the stress, avoid the trip, Pigeon Ship. Visit pigeonship.com today. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Like I said, we're actually a little below average for the temperature today, hitting 92 degrees for our high, and we get to stay in the 90s for the next day or two. It's the weekend when things start to get really hot, triple digits. Right now it's 73 degrees and sunny. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
It was James Carville for the 1992 Clinton election who famously coined the phrase, "It's the economy, stupid." And this morning we're reading some new polling that I thought was pretty darn interesting and telling about the upcoming midterm elections.
Yeah, and what he was talking about, of course, is what do voters care about when they're getting ready to vote. And he said it's the economy, and that is a huge part of it. But we're looking at a brand new Reuters Ipsos poll that that finds that a plurality of American voters say they think Democrats would do a better job with the economy than Republicans, and that's something that hasn't been the case for about 10 years.
I still think, look, we have to find a way to do weenie whistles and hot dogs in relation to the economy. But most people, look, they equate a good economy to conservative fiscal policy. Not always, though. But if Republicans aren't pulling well on that front, I mean, I think it's just one more sign that there's trouble for Republicans in the midterms. And I think Republicans know that, too. They're like, we need to get out there. We need to talk about affordability. We need to talk about how we're making housing more affordable and more accessible. But it's not happening. Voters aren't buying it.
Yeah, the numbers aren't significant for either side, but 37% of registered voters responded to the polls that said the Democratic Party has a better approach to the economy. 36%, 1% less, said the Republican Party does. 27%, they're not sure which would do a better job. And Republicans have held the advantage through most of Trump's first term in office in 2017 to 2021. Through all of Biden's 4 years, into Trump's second term, and they concluded that now Democrats are starting to pull an edge. They haven't had it since 2017.
Yeah, so I would say if you, even this year, like we're looking from just a year ago, they people who were polled, only 25% said they thought the Democrats were better on economic policy, and 45%. And now Democrats have pulled ahead 37-36, as you said. So I think that's really significant. This poll had a couple of other things in it too. Right. So one of them was, again, the approval-disapproval of President Trump's performance. And as you might imagine, about 63% disapprove and about 35% approve. And what's interesting to me in that is that a year ago, he was above water. He had 47% approval and only 41% disapproval. And that's grown by 22% in a year.
Yeah, and his numbers
a little bit over a year.
His numbers have dropped even within the last month. He was at 37% approval rating a month ago. Now he's at 35%. I think a lot of people are looking at the war in Iran. Of course, I heard Trump today say, or maybe it was yesterday, saying that his approval ratings are higher than any president in history.
He did say that on Truth Social.
Yeah, that this was a rigged poll. And it's done by who did we decide?
It's Reuters Ipsos.
So I would expect it to be a fairly accurate
It has a margin of error of 2%, which is a very small margin of error. So so it's just interesting to me that we're talking about, we're looking at midterms. In fact, there are 5 states with primary elections today. And there are some where for sure the economy is playing into it. The war in Iran is playing into it. And I think when you have a president who can't point to an actual poll, but say that his poll numbers are the highest and anything that says otherwise is fake news, then you kind of have to at least take that with a grain of salt, because I haven't seen a single poll from any organization, including Fox News, that puts him in a net positive. In fact, Fox News did their own polling saying, we think that the House is going to go for the Democrats.
And speaking of that, that was a third part of the poll. They talked about registered voters, whether they would vote. Now, this isn't there. They didn't have a name. They just said a party. In a congressional election,
generic ballot,
would you vote for a Democrat or the Republican? 42% of registered voters from any party would vote for the Democrat. 37% would vote Republican if the contest were held now. Independents in the poll picked Democrats over Republicans by 12 points. And Republicans, have a narrow majority right now. So this doesn't bode well for Republicans in the Congress, the House. I don't know. It seems like the Senate's going to be much closer.
I was looking at polls this morning in the Texas race for Senate, and you have Ken Paxton, who's the Republican nominee. He's a very problematic candidate on a lot of fronts. And you have James Tallarico, who's the Democrat. And there are 3 polls, including a Fox News poll, that put Tallarico ahead. And there's still, several months left in the election cycle. But that would be really impactful, I think, to see Texas elect a Democratic senator. It'd kind of be like Utah electing a senator from the Democratic Party. Right now, it doesn't seem like that's possible, but in Texas, it might be.
Yeah, and so, there's got to be some bipartisan, some crossing the aisle. If something like this changes, I mean, Trump has had the benefit of both houses and the Supreme Court on his side for his first 2 years in office, and he's been able to accomplish a lot, most of his agenda probably. If things change for the second half of his term and he's got a Democratic majority in any body, it's going to be much more difficult for him, and there's going to have to be some reaching across the aisle. We have a senator here in Utah, Curtis, who's been good about reaching across the aisle. He's been very good about that.
He runs a lot of bipartisan legislation.
Right, yeah. He seems to be doing a good job. It seems like our governor is part of a gubernatorial group that is bipartisan, and they're doing some things. So maybe the country isn't quite as separated and as maybe some people think. Hopefully the next couple of years we're not just in a quagmire where we're just voting strictly across party lines, because if that's the case and the Democrats get a majority in the House, we won't get anything done.
So there's an AP poll that this is similar, right? But this one was conducted in late July, so similar to Reuters. But 32% of U.S. adults approve of the president's handling of the economy, so only 32. 69% say they would rate the state of the economy as poor. And many say the cost of everyday essentials like groceries and gas is a major source of stress in their lives. So they put the president's overall approval rating at 33%, which is below where he was at this point in his first term.
Yeah, pretty close to what this poll was. And another thing, I look at polling on different issues.
Mm-hmm.
The one that he still polls the strongest in is his dealing with immigration. But even that one, he's right around 50%. I mean, it's
and that's among
number.
Republicans, I think.
Right.
It's not overall. And I think those numbers have been dropping for him as well. We're going to talk about immigration in the 11 o'clock hour, but I do think it's pretty interesting to see that Democrats now are favored, even if it's by a little bit, but they are favored as being better on the economy than Republicans.
Well,
that's a hard pill for some Republicans to swallow, for sure.
Right. And I mean, I don't know that the Democrats are doing themselves any favor. They've got a lot of candidates who are being portrayed as being quite progressive. And so when it comes down to it, I mean, people might say the generic Democrat, I'll vote over the generic Republican, but there's anybody but generic candidates running right
for
now.
sure.
Trump's
right.
put his people in too, and so there's an argument to be made that some of the Republicans are further right than a lot of voters might want, and there's also some Democrats that are jumping in that may be further to the left. So I don't know what the independents are going to do. They're going to have to make some hard decisions, and even Democrats and Republicans, you've got to show up this year and hope that we have a good competitive race. Whatever it is, I just hope we have a good turnout.
So it's interesting, too, that even internationally, the economy, we're talking specifically about the impacts of the war in Iran on the economy. The UK is expecting a recession if the Strait of Hormuz doesn't reopen, right? They're expecting a big impact for their market. So we know that China is looking at what's happening right now. So China feels like they're doing well.
Right, yeah.
All right. That was pretty interesting. And we're going to stick with money when we come back on Inside Sources. We're going to talk about the resale hustle. KSL investigator Matt Gebhardt dug into this trend and whether it actually can help solve your money problems. He'll join us to explain coming up after the break.
Hey, what if I told you that 4 weeks from now, everything can feel different? And by the way, 4 weeks from now, we're still going to be in the summer. That's about the time of the Labor Day weekend. Your energy can feel better. Your weight can feel better. The way your clothes fit. That is what the SOTA Dynamic Diet is built to do. And right now, listeners can get 4 free weeks when they call 866-800-SOTA, that's SOTA, and mention KSL News Radio. The summer season is ending, and so is this offer. SOTA teaches you, and it taught me, how to let go of the weight and keep it off for a lifetime. No shots, no pills, no lifetime dependency, just food, expert guidance, and habits that last. And that's what drew me to SOTA, was not wanting to get on medication or something that I'd have to stay on for the rest of my life. Just teach me how to eat. Tell me what to eat. Tell me what to do. And it was helpful also because I had a nutritionist, a trained nutritionist, who contacted me every week, and she was great. And she said, Greg, how we doing? And she made me take a picture of myself standing on the scales. So I couldn't trick her. I had to show her exactly what I lost, and I lost over 4 pounds a week for 7 weeks. SOTA was great, and SOTA is, let's say it with me, state of the art.
Aloha. How do I look? Hey, why are you wearing a Hawaiian shirt, flip-flops, and carrying a pineapple?
Because I feel like I'm on vacation.
You know, you don't have to dress like you're on vacation to feel like you're on vacation.
Oh, I don't?
Nope, just move into an Ovation home.
Okay, so you're saying I can retire the Hawaiian shirt?
Maybe, but to keep it for Fridays. Why leave for vacation when home already feels this good?
Seriously.
Ovation Homes gives you the freedom to enjoy life without the constant chores and upkeep.
Huh.
More time for travel, hobbies, friends, family, and all the things you love most. Visit Ovation Homes at Seboya Farms in West Layton, just off Gentile. Tour award-winning home designs, enjoy resort-style amenities, and discover a lifestyle built around freedom and convenience.
Oh, yeah, that's my kind of paradise.
Ovation Homes. Less maintenance, more living, more freedom. Visit OvationHomesUtah.com today. OvationHomesUtah.com.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Thinking about replacing your windows? Choose the company that builds and installs them right here in Utah. Advanced Window Products is Utah's local window and door manufacturer that sells directly to homeowners. Nate Orchard here. At Advanced Window Products, there are no dealer fees, no middleman markups, and no extra costs to cover someone else's profit. From manufacturing to installation, every step is handled by Advanced Window Products' local team. Every window is custom built in Salt Lake City for Utah's homes and backed by one of the strongest warranties in the industry, a lifetime warranty covering labor, glass, and parts. Even better, it's fully transferable to the next homeowner. Right now, get $2,000 off when you purchase 10 or more windows. Financing is available, and Dominion Energy rebates may help you save even more. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or visit us at advancedwindows.com. That's 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
Any Hour Services can help unclog any drain in your house. Whether you have a backup, a clog, or a slow drain you want fixed, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
911, tell me exactly what happened. My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
And I said, Josh, where are you? You need to get home.
And her husband will never be held accountable.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but I've always...
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
I'm Dave Cawley, host of the podcast Cold.
Then he starts making phone calls to Susan's phone.
Hello, Susan. We are on our way back.
It's the deepest of deep dives into this tragic tale of abuse.
Where was Josh when Susan disappeared?
I don't know. Of one mother's desperate attempt to escape.
This is me, covering all my bases.
Help prevent it from happening again.
Our focus has and continues to be finding Susan.
Listen and learn by following Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
Inside Sources.
So this is something that I hadn't considered, maybe even known much about, but it's been interesting to read about it. But a lot of people have side hustles these days, and an interesting way to make some extra money.
And whether you're spending less or earning more, right? I mean, those are the two things that people say to make your budget work. You have to spend less or earn more. People are trying to find ways to stretch the budget.
Yeah, and what we're talking about is a resale hustle where people apparently know how to purchase or what to purchase. They can purchase something at a low price and they can resell it. And
buy low, sell high.
Make a little profit. I know a lot of people spend a great deal of time, believe it or not, on KSL classifieds in the motor vehicle and other department, and they can find things. They're smart. I mean, I'm not this person, but they'll find a car that is underpriced.
Right.
They'll make a little improvements to it and make a few dollars, sometimes more than a few dollars.
So some of it is even more than that, and I know that it can become a full-time job, but you can buy things that are used, for example, but you recognize, okay, well, this will actually sell. And I know, like, my husband actually used to work with somebody in the computer industry whose wife was doing a resale business like this that became so lucrative he quit his computer programming job to help her. But most of them, I don't know if they make that much money. Yeah. But good thing we have Matt Gebhardt with us, KSL investigative reporter, to tell us about this resale hustle. Is it worth it?
Well, it is to some of the people that I interviewed. Sorry, I'm out of breath. The KSL parking garage was chaotic, so I just ran.
We had to run to the Oscar Mayer Wiener.
I know, the Wienermobile. Yeah. It's out by the Devereaux Mansion. We were out there filming. It's very fun.
That sounds more exciting than my race in from the
You're all good.
The BYU apparently students are back. So sorry.
Take your time.
You're all good.
Yes, to some people, right? I, like you, have only dabbled in this. I've shopped on KSL Classifieds. Yeah. My wife has nice things, and so she'll every once in a while sell something on Poshmark or whatever. And you're not making money. In her case, selling stuff that's just in her closet, you're just losing less money compared to what compared to the whole final thing. But I interviewed a woman for this who saw the show Storage Wars. You guys have seen Storage Wars?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's basically buy a storage unit sight unseen, or is it? Do you get to see it?
You get to see it, sort of. You don't get to step into it.
Okay.
But you get to, they open the door for you and let you see it. In
Yeah.
her case, now that's the TV show.
Right.
In her case, it's all online, right? And so they open the thing up, they take a couple of pictures, they say, here's, start your bidding, right? And then they do. And these things go for a lot less than maybe you might think, right? So in my mind, I'm going like, I don't know, you get them for a couple of grand or something. They sell for sometimes $100 or $200.
Oh, wow.
And so then, but what's inside and what's it actually worth to people? And so they said, why not us? Her husband worked full time. She dabbles in school, has a daughter, wanted something that gave her total flexibility and said, let's give it a whirl. Let's see what happens. And next thing you know, they're making, she buys this thing and they bring it home and they're making money.
Oh,
they're having fun doing it. And what was really interesting talking to her is it's the stuff that you wouldn't think maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's.
Did she give you an example of something that surprised her?
She did. She gave me a bunch of examples of the. I'm trying to think of exactly. There's stuff that's obvious that's going to make money, right? You
Right.
You get some.
Like I've got a guy, a friend who does the exact same thing you're talking about, Matt, and he knows that I collect coins. So invariably, he'll get one and he'll call me to say, "Okay, I've got a box of coins here. I have no idea what they're worth." And he doesn't care. Just make me an offer, and he'll sell them. I end up probably paying him what he paid for the whole storage unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other day he had a charger. He knows I have electric cars, and he had a Tesla charger. Those things are really expensive. I mean, like $1,500 or something. And he's like, "Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah, right. And so that's sort of the, you open the thing up and it's like, oh look, a pair of Louis Vuitton shoes. Well, that's gonna fetch something.
Right, sure.
It's the stuff that's like the T-shirt with that random printing on it that it's like this couldn't possibly mean anything to anybody. But you put it out there on eBay, and it just happens to be the guy in Miami who's looking for that exact pattern for a Halloween costume or whatever, and then they're willing to pay. And if you paid $100 for the whole storage unit and somebody's willing to pay $30 for this really unique item that they want,
you're ahead.
You do that a couple of times and you're even. And so, she was basically like, this started as kind of a hobby. Let's just see what's what.
Sure.
And it's now turned into, in a couple of months, a full-on business for her. And she says that her return is about 400%, which is crazy. And now that doesn't factor in all of the other things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's labor there, right?
You got to take a truck. You got to go move it all out.
Yeah, I mean, she lets her husband do that, but so to her it's worth it. And then it's like, and in the story we also examined that it can go beyond just there's storage, the Storage Wars thing. There's auction houses where you can buy. I interviewed a woman who works for B-Stock, which is a company that basically people like Amazon and Target and Home Depot will partner with when they have just pallets of stuff.
Oh, wow.
They need to get off their shelves and they don't do it. And so you can end up selling some of the stuff that has an MSRP of like $30,000
Wow.
for Again, a couple of $100.
Wow.
Now, again, you got to figure out what to do with it. You got
Sure.
to have a storage unit of your own. You got to get it home. You got to, but it's
market, right?
Yeah, and then of course there's the opposite of that, which is, if you go down to any thrift store, Deseret Industries at opening time, and look at people queuing outside, just waiting to rush in and look for the thing that they think they can buy and turn around. And so there's the totally macro level, and then there's the totally micro level and totally macro level of people. But there's been a surge in this. Since the pandemic, right? You had a whole bunch of people who lost their jobs or couldn't go into work and were looking for some way to, keep their lights on. And so people are doing it.
It's interesting, the people, Matt, that have the right eye. I mean, I wouldn't know. I mean, some people will see like a set of dishes or something and go, or like you say, the Louis Vuitton. I guess if it says Louis Vuitton, you'd know, but I'd assume it was.
I would know. I would think it was fake.
I would assume it was a fake.
A knockoff.
But, I mean, I wouldn't do this myself because I watched The Silence of the Lambs, and I think that I'd open up a box and there would be a person's arm in there or something like that, a dead body. I'm just kidding, but you don't know what you're going to find.
But actually, there is something to that, and there are. We didn't get into this in the story, but that was sort of like you find weird stuff.
Oh yeah,
sure.
What happens when you find something, and there is because these are people's storage units where they buy a storage unit, and then something goes wrong. Maybe they pass away, or they just don't pay on it, or they have nowhere to put it. So whatever, they abandon it. But people put personal things in there that they maybe don't have room for in their house, but. But they open these boxes of some incredibly personal things sometimes.
Yeah.
Not like the movie Seven or whatever, but it's at least not yet. But they've also seen the opposite of that, where they open it up and they find on literal bags of dirt. Like, why would somebody throw bags?
Why
of
would
dirt?
you pay to store a bag of dirt?
Bags of dirt and bags of garbage. And all I can think is like it's some situation of like
they were hurrying or something.
Moving. Imagining a situation where they're moving and their trash bin was full and they said, forget it, throw it in a box and we'll throw it in there and we'll deal with it later, and they just didn't. Or whatever.
Wow.
But so it's not to say every storage unit has paid off for this woman I interviewed. But again, I think that was her surprise too. Mm-hmm. And this woman has a certain fashion sense and a certain sense of value of things. But it was the stuff that she was positive wouldn't make her a penny, where she's seen the biggest return on investment.
So I'm just trying to do math in my head, and if you're paying $200 for a storage unit and you're making a good return on that, is it actually enough though to replace, say, a regular full-time job?
I guess for some people
depends.
Yeah,
that depends. Yeah, that's a matter of margins, right?
Sure.
And also there's more risk because they have had storage units that didn't pay off in their case.
Right. Sure. So it's the long game.
Well, and yes, but it's also the storage unit. If you don't, the most I think they've paid for a storage unit, they told me was $800 or $900.
Uh-huh.
If you lose $800 or $900, it's not all the money in the world.
Sure.
Right.
If you're buying a pallet, a truckload of stuff, and it's 15, 20 grand. That's harder to swallow, right? And so it's a lot of risk and reward and a lot of gambling there, and so. But there are so I mentioned I interviewed this woman who works at B-Stock that sells the pallets of stuff, and she said there's a guy who quit his job. He specializes in pressure washers. That's his thing.
Wow.
And so they find he watches them, and every once in a while they get to the end of the season, and
Sure.
your Home Depots and your Lowe's of the world have to get rid of we don't have pressure washers need to go away.
Right, 'cause
we need to make
Christmas.
room for snow throwers or Christmas or
yeah.
whatever. And so he buys nothing but pressure washers, and he's turned that into a pressure washer selling business, and he just operates online
and he probably does pretty well.
and quit his job and does that now.
Interesting.
So,
well, thanks, Matt. Thanks
yeah,
for
guys,
joining
thanks.
us. Another fun gig. Well, coming up next, it's back to school with Inside Sources, and we're talking about the costs of going back to school this year. A new report says parents are spending, on average, we talked about this last night to tease this segment, $900 per child. How much do you expect to spend on back to school shopping this year? Text us at 57500 and tell us if you're spending $900 per kid.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour. A teenager will be in secure confinement until he's 25 after he confessed to shooting and killing a man nearly a year ago. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff joins us with details.
That young man is now 16 years old. He was 15 when the shooting happened during an illegal street race near the end of August last year. Weber County Attorney Chris Allred says the teen confessed to murder and possession of a firearm. Jesus Garcia was killed, and two others, including Garcia's young daughter, were shot and injured. Two others were arrested in connection to the shooting. One is serving 4 to 10 years in prison, while the case against the other is still moving through the legal system. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Getting kids ready for a new school year can come with more expenses than many parents expect. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera found some Utah families are getting creative to save money.
For some Utah parents, back-to-school shopping looks a little different these days. Layton's Ben Martinez has a son heading into his junior year of high school. He says instead of chasing expensive trends, many teens are embracing thrift stores.
The last couple years has been a blessing because all these kids, they just want to shop the bins, man. He's just like, let me have some money, and he goes to Savers or DI or Goodwill, and I'm about it.
Parents responding to an Instagram poll I posted shared similar experiences. The largest group said they've spent between $100 and $250 getting their kids ready for school, while about 1 in 4 said they've already spent more than $500. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, things are on the way up. The Dow has gained 934 points. That's 1 3/4%. The S&P is up 116 points. That's over 1.5%. And the NASDAQ has gained 545 points, which is over 2%. Coming up, we'll take a look at this week's forecast. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This Friday from 10 to 1, the movie show comes to Sound Sleep. But first, take time to learn about a better night's rest. Sound Sleep delivers oral appliance therapy that treats sleep apnea without the use of CPAP machines. They're professionally fit, warranted, and covered by most major medical insurance. End the days of a poor night's sleep. With offices from Clearfield to St. George, Sound Sleep will help. Call Sound Sleep at 801-716-8672 today.
When American troops withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, thousands of evacuees fled to the U.S. for protection. Many Americans welcomed their new neighbors.
For the last week, the governor tells me his office has been getting calls nonstop with Utahns wanting to help.
When we saw the pictures and the videos coming out of Afghanistan, we prayed to be able to help them.
But then, what happened? Listen to Stranger Becomes Neighbor, wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn more how to save more this summer at uccu.com. Here's Cormac McBone.
Roadways have really cleared out. All our disabled vehicles and crashes have otherwise cleared off the road. No delays on all your major freeways across the Wasatch Front. I-80 through Parley's Canyon or over to Tooele County. No slowdowns there either. Do have some regular delays both directions of Bangerter Highway approaching the 201 freeway, and in Utah County, of course, eastbound 2100 north, seeing the regular scattered delays from Redwood Road over to I-15. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Warm this week, but today we get a little reprieve, only 92 degrees for our high, but then it moves into those triple digits here in the next several days, and skies will be a little bit smoky. Right now it's 73 degrees and sunny. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Back to school. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
So back to school with Inside Sources. We do have special coverage all week, and today we want to talk about the costs. how much money are parents spending on back to school shopping? Now, it's not just shopping, it's the overall package of going back to school. That's our question of the hour. So text us 57500. What are you anticipating spending to get your kids ready to go back to school?
And the reason we're talking about this is that a new poll has come out from Good Morning America Ipsos parents, and they find that on average, parents are spending close to $900 per child this year on back-to-school shopping, and that is a high number. Most of the parents, they said that they interviewed, 68% say that it's more than they've spent in the past, 30% say it's about the same. But this is a big group, and I'm talking about K-12. Kids in all ages going back to school, averaging nearly $900 per child this year.
And that number seemed really high to me. And we asked on social media we asked for people to chime in and tell us what you're spending. And people actually had a couple of really good comments. Some of the people who are spending money to hit this $900 level, they're spending it on things like sports and band. And in fact, we had one texter early this morning say that their niece is spending $4,000 to be part of drill team. That is a lot.
I didn't think schools could do that.
They can.
I guess if the school can only cover so many things. I remember being in the band when I was in school, and the school didn't buy my drums for me. I had to buy
or your uniform,
right? Or that's true. We did have to buy certain things. I wrestled and I had to buy shoes and things like that. So it cost a little bit. Nothing like $900, but that was a different time.
So one of the things that's interesting, this article that breaks down. This is, of course, from ABC News that sponsors Good Morning America. They did break it down, and so I think it does make a little bit of sense when you start to add it up this way. So an average of $337 on items for after-school activities. And so to me, that is like the band and the sports and the things that you do with school that are not officially part of school. $275 on clothes and shoes. $118 on school supplies, and that includes backpacks and lunch boxes. $102 on technology, and $52 on books. And that doesn't include school lunch, right? And so some of the comments that we've gotten, like there's one texter, and you can text us also, 57500. They just say, I cannot imagine spending so much on back to school. We push too much on image and nice things. My kids are savers, DI, Ross shoppers, even MPS. So I agree with that, right? I have never, ever spent that much money on sending kids back to school on a per kid basis. But what I will say is when I had a lot of kids in junior high and high school, by the time we did fees and the clothes and everything, I spent more on back to school than I did on Christmas. That was a lot.
Yeah, so maybe the 900 isn't as out of hand as you might think. But, I mean, obviously you buy clothes. I always got new clothes every year for
I get like one outfit for my child because I buy her new clothes all the time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess we kind of waited. It almost seemed like you'd get 4 or 5 outfits, so you at least get through that first week with a different set of clothes on every day, and then you can start recycling.
So at our house, we would do, I used to do underwear and socks at Christmas, and then I thought that was a lame Christmas present, and so they would get them at back to school time, and just imagine buying new underwear and socks for 20 kids at home at our peak. That was really a lot.
Well, you've got one this year.
I have one this year, and we're going to do, I have taken her shopping multiple times, and it's not back to school. It's just like, hey, it's summertime, and you're growing, and let's go find another T-shirt and pair of shorts, right? So
well, maybe if you consider, Holly, the 60 days between, summer and when you went back to school, maybe you did spend close to $900 on the kid.
No.
Okay.
Not yet. But but I can see if you add it up over the school year, right? Because I know for sure this year we're going to have to buy a new winter coat because she's outgrown the one that we have used for like 3 years. She just has outgrown it, and so we're going to have to go buy a new coat. When I had a lot of kids at home, they could do hand-me-downs and those types of things. So I wanted to share some of our Facebook comments. So Becca Writing shares that it really depends on if they're including school fees and extracurricular activity fees. She says, when I have a kid in high school sports or marching band, I spend way more than $900 for that.
Yeah.
And then she says she generally budgets about $200 a child for a child who's in secondary for fees and yearbook, another $150 for new shoes and school supplies and a couple of outfits. And she says that's shopping sales, thrift, and consignment. And then elementary is about $30 for school supplies, $50 for the requested school district donation, and maybe $80 to $100 for new clothes. Right.
So you talked about somebody who said that their daughter was supposed to spend $4,000 to be on the drill.
It was their niece.
Drill team or something like that.
Yep, 9th grade.
So I guess what troubles me about that is, let's say you don't have the money. You just don't make drill team?
I don't know all the details. I do know that there
sad.
are ways to get fee waivers. And I'll say this, the Utah legislature wanted to make sure that a free public education was actually free. And so what they've done, and this is just fairly recent legislation, but what they've done is say for basic classes that you need for graduation, they need to either be free or have the ability to waive those fees, right? But there are still a lot of things where you have to pay fees.
Yeah, I guess they can't waive the cost of buying a uniform.
Right.
I mean, they can't buy it for you. Most likely, maybe they could.
I mean, I don't know, maybe Park City School District. But look, I what I'm saying is there are still a lot of places where you can charge fees, the schools can, and that's one of them is these extracurricular activities. But even things like an AP class, right? The advanced placement classes, you can charge fees for those. To do the concurrent enrollment, you can charge fees for those.
Because you're getting college credits?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, so that it's different, right? You don't have to take those classes to graduate.
Right.
And so to take those classes, they can charge a fee. Same for driver's ed. They can charge a fee for that, right? You don't have to have your driver's license to graduate.
It's not part of the public education curriculum necessarily.
It's not the necessary part, right? It's
right.
not the core part. And
Right.
so that's what they were trying to do is reduce the core part. When I came on earlier and on the morning news to talk about this topic, Andy Farnsworth asked a question about school lunches and where you hit that limit between free and reduced school lunches. That is a federally set guideline.
Meaning
right?
it's the same in New York as it is in Salt Lake
Absolutely.
City. Right.
It's the same in Hawaii as it is in Utah, as it is in Arkansas, as it is in Washington, D.C. It's exactly the same, which doesn't make any sense because the cost of living is so different.
Right, in rural schools versus...
Right. It's exactly
Even
the
just
same.
within
It doesn't matter.
State, you would
Yep.
expect.
It doesn't matter where you live. It's exactly the same. But, one of the things that came out of the pandemic that I thought was super interesting, and we've tried to do some of that in Utah and have been unsuccessful, but everybody got free breakfast and free lunch. Everybody did, coming back from the pandemic. And what we saw is that kids were learning better for at least for a little bit, right? Because they may come to school and have not had breakfast. But when nobody is looking at you funny because everybody qualifies,
right?
More of them were eating breakfast.
Yeah, that
more
was
of
the
them were
problem,
eating
was
lunch.
The stigma, right?
Yeah, and still is, right? It still is. But when I had a bunch of kids, we did home lunch. They had to take their own. And now that I just have one, well, she gets school lunch. So that's an additional expense that wasn't even part of this question about getting ready to go back to school. It's just a school expense that happens all year.
You still have to pay for school lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't been in school for a long time. My mom used to make lunches once in a while.
Yeah. So anyway, those are some of the conversations around what people spend. There's again a lot of people on our Facebook post are saying, look, it depends on the brands, it depends on where you're shopping, right? School registration fees, those types of things. But a lot of people are not spending the $900 until you start to get to those extracurriculars that are so expensive.
But what I learned is that $900 isn't necessarily out of whack.
I know.
Some people are spending
That's
that.
crazy.
That may be accurate.
All right. So with the question about how Utahns are dealing with the cost of going back to school, coming up next on Inside Sources, we're going to get details from KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera, who's been doing a story on that.
Do you know why more homeowners choose Any Hour Services for help when it's time to replace their air conditioners? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the main reasons people choose Any Hour Services is because of our people, processes, and convenience. People tell us all the time that there's just something different about having an Any Hour Services technician in their home. That's why our over 23,000 Google reviews mention our technicians by name. Another reason is our 7-step install process that we call the Any Hour Difference. It all starts with the needs analysis, where you explain what you like and dislike about your current system. This helps us design and size a system that fits your comfort and efficiency preferences as well as your home's airflow requirements. As for convenience, most of our installs are completed in one day. We also have flexible, no money down financing options available, even if you've been told no in the past. So if you've been thinking about getting a new air conditioner, call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate today. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Salt Lake City, get ready for a brand new summer tradition. Join thousands at the Utah State Capitol on Saturday, August 22nd for the inaugural Capitol 5. Choose a scenic 5-mile run or a fun 1-mile Capitol walk. Then stick around for the Capitol Festival featuring live music, food trucks, family activities, and local vendors. Plus, don't miss the spectacular opening ceremony with a massive American flag unfurling over the Capitol grounds. Run, walk, celebrate. Register today at thecapital5.com.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 25% upfront bonus? And are they promising you up to 9% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They aren't. That's up to $25,000 upfront or up to $9,000 per year on $100,000, guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states has Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
I want to extend an invitation to stop hiding in the back of photos. I know what that feels like. How long can you hold your breath for the photo before you finally have to let it out?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that anymore once you go through Soda Diet and Nutrition, because they will change how you look. I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months.
And I let go of 37 pounds in 3 months. And I remember when I used to wear jackets even in 100 degrees in the summer because I wanted something to cover my waist. Do you know how fun it is to be able to tuck a T-shirt in? This is the simple things in life. Tucking a shirt, wearing shorts, and not feeling self-conscious is awesome.
Putting a belt on that goes right below your belly button where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was possible. And then it was because of Soda Diet and Nutrition.
Right now, you can get 4 weeks for free by calling 866-800-SODA and just mentioning KSL.
But the time's running out to take advantage of this, so call 866-800-SODA, mention KSL, and get 4 weeks free because Soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
Really ugly clouds coming over from the north.
A place
the ridgeline is imposing, the escarpments, the drops.
where survival,
It's dark now. I have nothing.
is never certain.
This is not good.
My name's Dave Cawley, and I'm the host of a podcast called Uinta Triangle. It's about the disappearance of an Australian hiker named Eric.
Our conclusion and that of the sheriff is that the mountains have decided to keep him.
Come retrace Eric's footprints with me.
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard.
Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
He is not the first or last person to vanish in this remote region.
It was haunting to see the photos. I mean, really.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle. That's Uinta, spelled U-I-N-T-A, Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts. All episodes out now.
And expanded Inside Sources.
And we're going back to school with Inside Sources, and we're going to continue our conversation. This segment on back-to-school shopping. A new national survey says families are expected to spend a pretty penny to get their kids back to school.
$900, according to a new Good Morning America Ipsos Parents poll. What does that actually look like here in Utah?
Yeah, and so we wanted to find out how people are going to handle that. We have KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera with us, who's been talking with local parents and even put out a social media poll to get some more information. Eric, thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a big fan of you guys, so thank you for having me.
Well,
I think this is my first real, one-on-two with y'all. So thank you.
We're big fans of Eric also. So first of all, Eric, I want to ask you about your social media poll. What did you find?
You know, so I heard you talking about a $900 back to school average. I don't really believe that that's happening majority of the time here in Utah. You know, the poll was interesting. The biggest percentage I got on this poll was spending between, I believe it was $100 and $250.
Yeah.
That was really the majority. And then I would say in about 1 in 4 people that responded to my IG poll, it was 500 plus.
Oh, wow.
But even then, when I spoke with parents over the phone about this, you know, no one was saying 900.
Yeah.
People were definitely saying, oh yeah, I've already spent 500, maybe 600. 900 I never heard.
Yeah.
Well, did you find out anything that way people are trying to save money or things they're trying to do to save money?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, one of the dads that I spoke to, his name is Ben Martinez in Layton. His son is actually going to start his junior year of high school. And I want to play this clip because he basically says teenagers, especially in his age group, are actually helping their parents save a little money and they don't even know it.
The last couple years has been a blessing because all these kids, they just want to shop the bins, man. He's just like, let me have some money. And he goes to Savers or DI or Goodwill, and I'm about it. You know?
That's cool. No, and they're
we
finding
make sure
cool
and get
stuff.
him some nice shoes. Yeah, we make sure and he's particular about his shoes. So we get him some nice shoes and, you know, a couple of staples, but also he's been growing so fast that we try not to go too wild. But I mean, two pair of shoes and, you know, 3 pair of pants and 2 shirts, it's like $600.
So I actually laughed when he told me that, you know, because that's probably what most, you know, not what most parents expected to hear, right? That his son would rather buy thrifted clothes than brand new clothes. But that's a style thing right now, you know? I think the 90s are back in a big way, Holly, you know?
I know.
You know?
What? I saw bell bottoms come back. I'm like, you guys have got to be kidding. They were bad the first time around.
You're like, why didn't I keep any of
I
this?
know.
Yeah, right. Why didn't I keep any?
No, but you know what? His point about kids growing also is fair. I had a teenage son who changed shoe size 3 times one summer. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. When he came to me like in August and I was like, I need new shoes again. I'm like, I just bought you shoes 6 weeks ago. And that was 6 weeks after the last time. And he goes, no, I'm serious. And he showed me and he had. I'm like, okay. So look, I also remember getting teacher emails partway through the year that are like, we're out of Kleenex and we need more disinfecting wipes.
Holly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, that's actually what another mom told me. Her name is Kirsten. She has actually the kind of like you. She has the whole wide, you know, collection. She has a 3rd grader, a 6th grader, and then a daughter who's about to be a senior in high school. And she thinks people focus so much on back to school only that they forget the school keeps costing money all year. Let's play that.
I'd say it's the whole year. Because by the time you pay for all the fundraisers, all the donations, even a lot of times the teachers for the younger 2 students, they send occasional emails that our classroom is out of Clorox wipes or Kleenexes or Expo markers for their boards or whatever. So I'd say maybe the whole year.
I'm wondering, Eric, she's had several kids. If she found that there was a different cost for elementary, middle, high school, did she notice a difference there?
100%. So that was something kind of out the gate, right? When I put this out there to call me and talk to me about this before your first day, you know, she estimated, she would say around between $200 and $300 for kind of maybe the younger kids each. But she said easily over 600 already out the gate. And it just so happens too that her daughter, who's going to be a senior, she's also finally got the courage to try and get her license. So she just paid for, you know, driver's ed on top of, you know, all the elective classes she has, like art classes. There's, you know, there's fees and supplies needed for those things. So if you add all those up, yeah, she definitely thinks that they're just busier, right? Like as they're older.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I just got done paying for like driver's ed school. The fees are higher with like even the art classes that she's taking and extra classes that she has to have all the extra supplies that are needed for the sewing classes and the art and all the different classes she takes, a driver's ed. If she were to be in any sports, that would be extra money. So definitely more expensive as they get older.
Yeah, I think that's like with the clothes, even just clothes can be more expensive, right? A pair of jeans for a 16-year-old costs more than a pair of jeans for a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Eric, are you still with us?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Only halfway.
So you also asked some parents online. Did you learn anything from parents that way?
Yeah. 100%. So I thought this was really fascinating, right? That I would say about 42% after everything was said and done by late last night, said they had spent right between about 100 and 250 so far. But something that did catch my attention was that, like I said, 1 out of every 4 who responded said they'd already spent more than 500 before school even starts. And again, this isn't scientific, right? This is just, me putting it out there on Instagram stories and having people click on which one they feel is theirs. But yeah, that was interesting.
So I wonder if there was something that came up over and over for you that was something that surprised you from the parents that you talked to.
Absolutely. I think you said it, Holly, earlier, which is the donations, right? And this was something too, I even asked my wife, right, with our soon to be 4th grader here in the next couple weeks. I was like, how much are we doing? She was like, oh yeah. She was like, I get the PTA membership. And then she was like, I get another one just to give, right, to someone who needs it, or if the teacher needs it or whatever. And then, I do think about last school year and, because my day starts later, I definitely was bringing huge donation packages pretty much, at least once a month, right? Where I'm bringing Kleenex, I'm bringing wipes, I'm bringing treats, snacks, for the kids because they're that young, So I think it's donations, right? And once again, too, it's good things, right? These are good things. I mean, if anywhere my money should go, I think it should definitely be to help the teachers, right? So, but yeah, that was really surprising to me. I kind of, as a dad, was kind of thick-headed about that and didn't realize how much that's needed. So,
Eric, I got some bad news. It gets worse as the kid gets older, right? You got junior high, you got high school. Wait till the kid goes to college. I mean, it just
then you're on your own. Come on.
Every year it gets a little bit more.
Look, I want
to say too. Yeah, I want to say the majority, right? I'm sorry to cut you off, Holly. I want to say the majority of the 500 up were definitely clicking on college on the next screen for sure.
Yep. Yeah, and so what I wanted to ask is, did you get any input from teachers about maybe extra expenses that they have? So I have a daughter that is a teacher. She is in junior high. She does have a budget, but she always spends her own money, a lot of it, I feel like, outside of whatever budget she's given to make sure that the kids in her classroom are taken care of.
100%. I think that's where a lot of that donation part comes in, right? That we talked about. I know too that, my wife and I like to hook them up, for Christmas with like an Amazon gift card or something, something easy. So like, she could treat herself, but maybe also, she needs stuff, right? For the students, like you said. So I think being thoughtful about that, or especially around special times of the year, I think could be super helpful to them.
All right. That was Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio reporter. Eric, thanks for joining us. Good luck with your kid.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we started earlier this hour with the whole $900 thing. The more I'm learning, the more I'm thinking maybe that's kind of in line.
That's right. That's right.
Well, in the next hour of Inside Sources, we want to talk about some proposals to help our broken immigration system. Our own Senator John Curtis has an idea, a really interesting idea. We're going to chat with him in a few minutes to learn more about that bipartisan approach that he's got. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top story this hour, fire investigators believe they've determined the cause of a house fire in Sandy. Sandy Deputy Fire Chief Chris Aston says it was near 8800 South, 300 East.
They dug through and determined that it looks like a candle was the culprit of this, and the homeowner reported that he had lit a candle and it had rolled under his bed and he lost control of it under there.
The home is considered a total loss. 2 people were injured in the fire, and the family pet was killed. In other local news, in addition to obscuring views, the smoke and dirty air from fires can feel like you're catching a cold.
You'll feel a tickle in your throat. You'll think you'll have a sore throat, a cold. It'll pass once the air quality improves.
Nicholas Rupp with the Salt Lake County Health Department says if you have to be outside longer than a few minutes, you should consider wearing an N95 mask. In other news, a Colorado City man was arrested in Hilldale over the weekend after police say he fell through a ceiling during an escape attempt. According to the St. George News, 45-year-old Curtis Cook is accused of fleeing from a traffic stop in a golf cart before entering a nearby home where he hid in the attic. Police say he was drawn out after tear gas was thrown into said attic, causing him to emerge from his hiding place before tumbling through the roof. Taking a look at your money at this moment, we've got green across the board. The Dow Jones is up 1,000 points. That's 1.9%. The Nasdaq is up 600 points. That's 2.3%. And the price of oil is down $4 a barrel. It's at $76 a barrel right now. Coming up, we're facing another hot weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:02.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Summer is wrapping up, and so is Soda's 4 free weeks offer. This is the last time for the summer. Grab it before summer is over. No injections, no awful side effects, just a natural way to lose weight. This is Greg Skordas, and I lost weight through Soda, and it was a great program for me. Call 866-800-SODA and mention KSL News Radio, and you'll get 4 free weeks free right now. You can learn how to keep your weight off through their Soda nutritionists who help you get to the root causes of your challenges. You learn lifelong habits that last long after the program is done. No lifelong medications, no injections. Weight loss medications can cost a lot, and for many people, the bill does not end. Soda is different. Degreed nutritionists help you get to the root causes of your challenges, guide you one-on-one, teach you lifelong habits so you can lose the weight without signing up for a lifelong bill. I personally lost over 30 pounds in just 7 weeks through Soda's plan. It was a great program for me, and it is for you. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
When you need a new water heater, you need it right now.
Yep, can't wait on that.
When you need a new furnace or a new air conditioner come the summertime, you need it right now. So Superior Water and Air has a wonderful program where they can help you with financing. If you need it, get it today and pay it off when you get your tax refund or just over time.
And that's one of the great things is they have multiple financing options. It's not just one, okay, you've got to do it this way. It's, you can wait till just after your tax refund. Well, what if you need no payments until later in the year?
Yeah.
They can work with you like that because, look, they want to help you get you back on your feet with the thing that doesn't work that you got to use.
Yeah.
And they'll just work with your situation. What a great way to do it.
I loved introducing you to my friends at Superior because they're just great people. And when you invite somebody into your home, you want to feel good about them.
Yeah, and they're so customer-centric. That was what really impressed me was they wanted to work with me and my family, whatever needs we might have.
Right. They want your home to be safe and clean. Superior Water and Air. Here's the number, 801-872-8483, or go to superiorwaterandair.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
We've had an accident reported northbound I-15 in Sandy near 106 South, but it's out of traffic. I'm not seeing any problems with traffic being able to get by that. And we have also had a disabled vehicle reported southbound I-15 at Center Street in Orem. They're working to get that moved out of traffic to the side. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest to you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, the high is going to hit a little bit more modest 92 before it kicks up over 100 for most of the weekend. It's only going to drop back into the high 90s on Monday. Right now, though, it's 77 degrees and fair downtown. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
One thing I think most Americans can agree on is that our immigration system is broken. and needs to be reformed. But the question is, how do you reform it and make the necessary changes?
Yeah, and over the next couple segments this morning, we want to focus on the immigration debate and how state and federal leaders are trying to make changes, or in some cases, maybe keep things the same.
So our own Utah Senator John Curtis announced that he has a bill that he's working on with, I think, Senator Mark Kelly, that would create a voluntary state-sponsored visa program with the goal of helping local workforce services.
Yeah, I love this. I love the concept of it. So Senator Curtis actually joins us this morning to talk more about it. Senator, thanks for joining us this morning. And tell, just before we get to the nuts and bolts, what's your goal here? What are we trying to accomplish with this?
Well, I will tell you that right after I say hello. It's been too long to be with you today.
Hi. Good to see you. In fact, I think the last time we talked to you, you were getting ready to walk 250 miles.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what?
And
I'm
you
ready
did it.
to do it. I did it, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah,
it was a
fun.
great experience. So the goal of this is to take one little tiny aspect of and you mentioned a broken immigration system, and to fix it. And it's really, I think, a very different approach. We move it away from the federal government to the states. We make it voluntary, and we put a lot of accountability in it. And what I mean by that is, if states are good with the program, for instance, at the end of their first year, they have to tell us within a very small percentage where every single individual is on that has been given a visa and what they've done, and verify that they have obeyed the laws. And if they can do that, we actually give them additional visas, and the program can grow. It's voluntary. It's you can cooperate across state lines. So, for instance, as the governor of Utah wanted to work with the governor of Colorado, they could swap visas during certain parts of the year if they wanted them in Utah for skiing, and I know they'd want them in Colorado too, but so maybe we'll say Nevada, right? And they can move them across, and it really gives a lot of authority and power to the states to use these in a way that's beneficial for their state.
So, Senator, I have to ask this question because I was in the legislature in 2011, and it sounds very similar to something we were trying to do then. But we needed to ask the federal government for a waiver to implement this state-run program. We never got the waiver. Is this very similar? Is it based on what Utah did 15 years ago, or is it just a piece of it? How does it fit in with that?
Well, Holly, I'll confess, almost everything I do is based on something I learned from Utah.
Okay, great.
We do so many things right. And it was also a bill that had been kicked around a little bit back here, and I grabbed it back when I was in the House, and just feel like it hits on all cylinders for so many reasons. Look, if you go around this state, whether it's hospitality or ag or really anywhere you look, we can't find the workers. As a matter of fact, Sutherland did a study and found out there are 72 jobs for every, 72 workers for every 100 jobs. Ouch. And so if we hired every single man, woman, and child that wants a job, we're still 25% short of workers. And this is a way to address that in a very positive way, in a very states' rights way, and a very state control. And I just think there's a lot of good things about this, and I'm hoping we can get some momentum behind it.
It sounds a little bit, Senator, like the guest worker program, but with a lot of improvements, and maybe even with an avenue, and maybe you can correct me on this, for citizenship, or at least for continued being able to stay in the country longer than just the seasonal type employment.
Yeah, I'm really not trying to weigh into that debate. That is an important debate that we should have. And this is really just simply saying, look, we have a need. We have people who are willing to come here, obey our laws, pay taxes, and in many cases want to go back home. And we have the jobs here who otherwise they go unfilled, which is not good for the Utah economy. It's not good for our ag community, and in so many different places. And we've got a way that we can deal with that in a very safe way, a way, like I say, it's a pilot program. We can get into this, and if people can demonstrate that it's not working or taking jobs away from Utahns, it's a pilot program. But also, likewise, if we can prove that we're boosting our economy, we're providing amazing economic opportunities for our businesses, then we can let the program grow.
So, Senator Curtis, it sounds like Governor Cox is working on something very, very similar. Are you working together? Have you talked to him about his idea? Because they sound like they're cut from the same cloth.
I'm so pleased. Within literally, I think, seconds of us releasing the bill, I heard from the governor in a very positive way. I'm grateful for his support. And yes, and I think you mentioned it before, the legislature, they know what we need to do, but sadly, we haven't given states the ability to do that. And so we need to do this work on a federal level to give states that type of opportunity.
So where does it sit right now, Senator? Where is it?
Well, we've just introduced it. I'm very pleased. You also mentioned that Mark Kelly from Arizona, a Democrat, is a co-sponsor. And as you know, here in the Senate, if you're going to move a bill, you want to get a prominent Democrat that you can see eye to eye, and we do on this issue. And so we're now picking up co-sponsors, and like I say, the term is momentum. If we can get some momentum behind the bill, then I think it could be a really great thing for Utah and really for the country.
Yeah.
So I know that you're already getting pushback. I can read Twitter just like you can. So I mean, here's my frustration when we talk about immigration. We've been talking about it, it feels like forever. And I think most people agree with the middle portions of a lot of immigration policy, but we get on the edges. And so I already see people saying, no amnesty. And I don't see how this bill is amnesty. But how do you get over those arguments when they have a lot of sway?
So listen, I sadly, this is one of those political issues that the moment you pick up anything, somebody's there ready to whack you in the head. And I'm pretty clear, and I would be willing to bet lunch, none of these people have actually read the text of the bill or understand the bill, but they want to swing at it because it has the word immigration in it. And the reality of it is we have to make some hard decisions. There is no perfect immigration bill out there. But look, let's put things out on the table. Let's let them go through the iterative process of legislation. Let's let amendments be added, and where people have concerns, let me hear from them and how they would fix it and what they would do on immigration. And listen, if you can't get behind a state-sponsored program that's a volunteer program and is a pilot program, I'm not sure that there's any immigration legislation that you would support. This is the piece that everybody should be able to get behind. It's voluntary. It's giving the authority to the states. It's a pilot program, so we can have a chance to see what it does and doesn't do. And if their fears are correct, we'll know it. And if they're not, then we'll also know it, and we can move forward with the program. And it's just really sad that the environment is, if you even want to have this discussion, there's somebody there with a big old baseball bat ready to whack you on the head. And I have some scars from previous attempts, but it's important, and I'm going to keep trying, and we're going to keep bringing the topic up because there is a there, and we need to get it right.
Last question, Senator. What's your wife's take on the beard?
Well, for your radio listeners, it's I'm hoping to let it go for a couple of weeks. Actually, if it were up to my wife, I would have had it a long time ago.
Oh, good. That's a good sign. I like it.
Yeah,
So it looks good.
now, some of my staff, they would have me shave it. So we'll see who wins.
All right.
So, Senator Curtis, again, I want to thank you for joining us, but I also want to thank you for working on this legislation. It was an issue that was important when I was a legislator. It's been 15 years, and we really, really need to see some progress. And so from me to you, I want to say thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And I agree with you. Thanks, both of you.
All right.
We'll come back soon. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. That was Senator John Curtis on his new proposed legislation.
I like it. I mean, what I read about it, sounded very, very good.
Look, there's lots of guardrails, and there's lots of, like, this isn't amnesty. This isn't citizenship. This is just saying you can come and work. We can know where you are. You can pay taxes legally into the system. When we proposed it in the Utah legislature, we talked about biometric data, all those types of things. So next on Inside Sources, I do want to keep the conversation going about how other leaders are approaching the immigration debate. And I have some of my own thoughts, too. That's coming up next.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize! Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
One Kind Act a Day is a program from the Semnani Family Foundation. One Kind Act a Day seeks to create kinder communities by inspiring daily acts of deliberate kindness. Their work includes programs in schools, businesses, communities, faith groups, and prisons where they help enhance the culture of kindness and increase a sense of community. The world always needs more kindness. No matter what our background or beliefs are, kindness towards others and ourselves is something that everyone can get behind. Kindness can be big or small, but the ripple effect can reach out in ways that we don't even realize. Wouldn't life be better if we were all a little more kind? You can do your part by starting today. All it takes is one kind act a day. Find out more and take the pledge of kindness at thepowerofkind.org. That's thepowerofkind.org.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest, a sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled, and as he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
An expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
You know, we just had a really interesting conversation with Senator John Curtis about a proposal he has dealing with immigration. And at the same time, our other senator, Mike Lee, is working on some immigration legislation. And I have to say, for us not being a border state, it's really cool to see our senators taking this role in this national conversation.
So I want to talk about Senator Lee's bill This bill would fix some legal loopholes for adoptees of American families. And it's personal to me because my kids, a lot of them were adopted internationally. So what this bill would do is provide citizenship for children who are adopted by American citizens from a different country. And it seems like a no-brainer, and I feel like it should be. But what happened
Let me just time out.
Okay.
I would have thought that was already in place.
Well, it kind of is.
Okay.
But what happened in 2000 is there was a Citizenship Act that was passed in the year 2000 that granted citizenship to for international adoptees as long as they were under 18 at the time that the bill took effect, right? My family, it's great. They all have their citizenship. They all have passports. They all are U.S. citizens. But international adoption had been happening for a long time before that. And so you have adoptees, for example, from Korea. It was a very popular place to adopt from after the Korean War. And a lot of them came to the United States. They were adults by 2000, some of them in their 30s, some of them in their 40s. So they did not automatically become citizens. Now, for whatever reason, not everyone in that category went through the hoops to get their citizenship. It's possible, it's expensive, it takes a while.
And they probably didn't think they
But
really
they didn't
needed
think
to.
they needed
Right,
it, right?
right.
They a lot of them thought they had it.
Right.
They thought it was
Right.
You know, you de facto, I'm adopted, I'm here, you know, I immigrated legally. And so what this bill would do is to fix that loophole, because what has happened, and this I think is just awful. There have been some international adoptees as adults who have gotten crosswise with the law. And I would say even for relatively minor things, they have been deported to countries that they came from when they were babies where they don't really have any ties. And I know of more than one case where
Maybe
the people
don't even speak the language.
They don't speak the language for sure, right? If you're adopted to a white family and you're coming from Korea, I'm pretty sure they're not speaking Korean to you, right? And what has happened with some of them is they have taken their own lives if they've been sent back to this place with nothing, no contacts, no money, no job, no language, no nothing, and they end up taking their own lives. I mean, it's absolutely horrific. And so I do want to give a big shout out to Senator Mike Lee for running this piece of legislation. What's frustrating to me is this is not the first time this legislation has been run. It has been run multiple times. In fact, Senator Curtis ran this legislation when he was in the House. They can't get it passed.
You know, and how would it be to be in this country for 20 years, 30 years, whatever? You get there are certain crimes that are deportable offenses, even though in our country, in our state, they would be misdemeanors.
Mm-hmm.
Federally, they're deportable offenses. You get a misdemeanor, you'd think, okay, I'll deal with it, probation, whatever, and suddenly you're getting hooked up by ICE, Homeland Security, and saying we're taking you back to your country of origin. You're like, I can't speak the language. I know nobody there. I have no skills. I'm currently working here in some great profession, and you're sending me back. And
so there's a lot of things we could talk about with that, right? Some of them are you want to send it back to a country that doesn't even exist anymore. Yugoslavia doesn't even exist anymore, right? You could take, in fact, I have a son and a daughter that we adopted from Russia. They're both 30 years old now. My understanding, and I could be wrong, but my understanding is that because my son was born in Russia, that Russia could conscript him and put him in the military. I was like, are you for real? Like, never in 100 million years would I want my son to go to Russia right now to be put on the front lines and die in 30 minutes.
Right.
Right? That's the lifespan of a new soldier in Russia, 30 minutes.
And there's no way that the United States is going to let that occur.
Right.
I would
Well,
think, but
right.
that's pretty creepy to think about.
So again, I wanted to at least give a shout out to Senator Lee for running this bill. Look, I really hope it passes. I hope this is the magic trick. I don't know what the holdup has been, to be honest, why these bills can't pass. He does have a co-sponsor. It's Rick Scott. They're really trying to fix what he calls a legal loophole. And so I wanted to give a shout out for work that Senator Lee is doing that I approve of.
Let me pivot a little bit to Curtis's bill, and just because of your comments at the end when you were talking to him, obviously that one's personal to you as well, and you have some feelings about it in terms of your time in the Utah legislature. Is this something that you also support?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I support Curtis's efforts 100%. And some of the reasons why are what I was just telling you, right? I think immigration has been broken for so long in the United States. I think there's something like over 80 different ways you can get a visa. There are like the due process, all of this stuff that we talk about. We have made it so incredibly difficult to come here through what people are saying is the normal legal process. There are people who wait more than 20 years. There are people who finally get an appointment for their interview and they're dead, and they've been dead for a decade because it's taken so long to work up the queue, right? So back in, I think it was in the 60s, there was a Bracero program. They called it the Bracero program. It was a guest worker program where people could come across the border. You knew where they were, who they were, and they would come across and work, and then they would go home.
Right.
If they were seasonal workers, right? And it was different than feeling like now there's no way to come and work. There are ways. There's difficult ways, but to come across and work and then be able to go home to your family for 6 months of the year or 3 months of the year or whatever it was. So the Bracero program ended up shutting down when John F. K. had the unions go to him and say, they're stealing our jobs. Well, we've heard that in the decades since then, but we don't have proof of that, right? So one of the things I've seen about a complaint with Senator Curtis's bill is, oh my gosh, they're taking American jobs. No, they're not. We're telling you in Utah right now, there are 100 job openings for 72 workers.
Yeah, so
they're not taking our jobs.
No, yeah, because 28 jobs are going to be left unfilled, even if every Utahn that's eligible to get a job went to work.
Yeah.
We're not filling those.
No.
And frankly, let's be honest, a lot of these are jobs that people aren't going to take.
Yeah.
And they'll be reluctant to take.
This was the same conversation we were having 15 years ago when I was in the legislature, and I remember we had several farmers who were in the legislature, and I remember like these I would say, experienced farmers, wizened old farmers, they would stand up and say, I have advertised, and this was, again, 15 years ago, $14 an hour for kids to come milk my cows, and I cannot get a single one to last longer than an hour. If I get anybody to even apply with the local residents who live around me, no American teenager wants to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and milk my cows.
Right. So what? And I'm catching you off guard a little bit here, but with respect to Curtis's legislation, do you think that our state legislature would jump on that?
I don't know, because this last legislative session, there were some legislators who ran a bill to overturn the 2011 bill that did pass. It was HB 116 at the time, right? They ran a bill. It didn't pass, but it passed through the House, and then it didn't get taken up in the Senate. So there is some sentiment in the current makeup of the legislature that we should not be so open to immigrants in our state. Of course, there are people on the other side who are like, we are a state of immigrants. We started this state as refugees from persecution, and we came to a Mexican territory.
Yeah, and it does seem like the pendulum has swung a little bit. Trump has done a masterful job of securing the border, but to the detriment of people who need workers. Maybe it's time to at least open a little door, not the floodgates, and start letting people in on a very, very organized basis to come in and work. And I think we can do that.
We're almost out of time, but I think one of the things that I saw with what Governor Cox is saying, he said, look, he's working on a bipartisan manner as well for state-run visa programs. But he said one of the key issues we needed was to secure the border, and that's been done.
Right.
And so he feels like now's the time.
Now's the time. Yep. Well, we're going to take a break at the bottom of the hour for the bottom of the hour news. But when we come back, a cyclist, an Alzheimer's diagnosis, and why an estate plan can't wait. This is a little confusing, but it'll make sense. We want to discuss this interesting story on planning for the end of life when we come back.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top national story this hour from ABC News. Sources tell ABC News that President Trump called Republican Congressman Max Miller to express concerns over his candidacy after accusations of domestic abuse, which he denies. In regards to the allegations, ABC News Washington, D.C. managing editor Catherine Falders has more.
Miller used to work as a senior advisor in the White House to Trump during the first administration, but we know that at least after Trump made those comments last night, they did have a phone call, and that Trump expressed concerns over his candidacy and said it was in jeopardy. Now, according to sources, Miller did tell Trump that he was going to stay in the race. At the same time, he is facing a Wednesday deadline to drop out in order to have a special election to replace him.
Prior to that phone call, the president called Miller a, quote, good person, adding he was going to let the families figure that out. In other news, it's part of the largest class action settlement in U.S. history. ABC's Jim Ryan says tens of thousands of student borrowers who said their schools misled them are having their loans forgiven.
I trained in computer-aided drafting at ITT Technical Institute.
For half a century, its commercials filled the late-night airwaves until 2016, when ITT closed its 130 campuses, leaving students like Robert Hall wondering,
how do we get the money that we put into the program?
A decade later, he might finally have an answer. A federal appeals court has ordered the U.S. Department of Education to forgive the loans of 170,000 students of more than 150 for-profit schools accused of misleading the public about their graduates' job prospects. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, we're still looking good across the board. The Dow Jones is up 981 points. That's 1.8%. The S&P 500 is up 134 points. That's 1.7%. And the NASDAQ is up 637 points. That is 2.4%. Coming up, enjoy the cooler temperatures while we've got them. It's going to get hot. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried, because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Maria Chaleos, here with Bonnie from Salt Lake City Fat Loss.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks.
Tell us why the Salt Lake City Fat Loss program is preferred versus other weight loss programs that offer pills or injections.
Our program is the #1 natural alternative to drugs or injections, and for those who want to lose fat and not muscle. People are spending hundreds of dollars on these injections that are giving them slower weight loss, where our program is a fraction of the cost, and they're losing twice the amount of weight.
Can people lose weight fast on your program?
Most of our clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. But the biggest thing is they're learning the skills to keep the weight off.
What are some things that set your program apart from other weight loss programs?
It's very easy to follow, and we use regular grocery store foods. There's no heavy exercising required, and you get a personal health coach to help you every step of the way.
I chose the Salt Lake City Fat Loss Program along with over 70,000 people from across the U.S. Schedule your free consultation online at slcfatloss.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74%. Here's Ricky Meese.
One crash. It's in Weber County, northbound I-15, about a mile prior to the Willard Pleasant View exit, but out of traffic on the right. No delay. We have had a rollover crash in the Holiday area. This is at Murray Holiday Boulevard and Highland Drive. It's right in the construction zone, but crews are in the final cleanup with that accident. Earn double points on gas and groceries this summer, plus 10,000 bonus points when you open a new Cypress CU Rewards Visa. Learn more at cypresscu.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to be in the 90s today until Friday when it hits a high of 103, and it's going to go back to the 90s in Monday with a low chance of rain. Right now, though, it's 77 degrees and fair in Salt Lake City. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So getting older has its pros, and it might have its cons. You can throw in an illness or something debilitating, and it's a whole new challenge. That's why it's really important to prepare and plan as early as possible, I think.
Yeah, and a new article in the Deseret News takes a closer look at families who have loved ones with Alzheimer's and how they're getting their affairs in order before it gets too difficult.
So I saw this article from Lois Collins in the Deseret News. I found it really interesting, and I wanted to talk more about it this segment. And I just want to share, personal story. My husband's parents have both passed away. Before they did, they both were diagnosed with dementia. So different times. My mother-in-law had been my father-in-law's caretaker until he passed away. And then shortly after he died, she also ended up with dementia. And I will say it was incredibly difficult, even from far away, to watch what happened. She didn't remember my husband. She didn't remember her grandkids. Her son, my husband's brother, passed away while she was still alive. They didn't tell her because they knew she wouldn't remember, and it would be like reliving it every time. I mean, those were some of the decisions that he and his siblings were making. And so when I saw this, that estate planning you have to think about this, especially if there's a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or some other form of memory issue.
Yeah, and just from my own perspective as an attorney, having helped some families, if you don't have these directives in order before a loved one gets Alzheimer's, then the question becomes, when they make their own decisions and directives, did they do so under duress? Because I'll have families who call me and they say, Grandma met this guy and she's going to give him everything, and I'm like, wait a minute, time out.
Yeah.
We don't know if she's competent, and you have to litigate that, and it's awful
and painful.
And
right?
so if you can set things up beforehand while everybody's lucid, everybody knows exactly what's going on, you have a good attorney, and I don't do this kind of work, so I'm not hustling work by any means, but if you get somebody good, that's what my wife and I did. We finally and we're attorneys.
Yeah.
And we thought we're going to just have somebody set up a system for us so that when we get older and our kids aren't going to be worried about, hey, did mom really know what she was doing when she signed this, or does dad know what he's doing now when he's trying to get out of it?
So Lois's article is really in depth, actually, and she does share the story of a family that lives in American Fork, and Gene McMurtry, the husband in the story, he was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and it was right after that they went to start having these discussions. What's interesting, there's a couple of interesting things. There's a couple of attorneys that she talked to about trusts, and they disagree. One of them says it's a gold standard. The other one said, I don't think most people need them. What's your opinion, Mr. Attorney?
Both. I mean, I think they're great if you need them, but most people don't. I mean, most of the time you can get by. And we even have laws, and again, I'm not giving legal advice, that allow for the transition of assets without a will. Some people think, if I don't have a will, it's all going to the state.
Right.
That's not true at all.
Yeah.
I just think, now my parents both passed away in the last 4 or 5 years. They both had a trust, and I will just say it made, because I was the executor, because I'm the attorney in the family, it made my life so easy that they had that.
It was already there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one group made us go through probate, but I can do a probate standing on my head. So we did that. It wasn't hard, but I couldn't have thanked them enough. We didn't know they'd done that, but they set everything up. 4 kids, divide by 4. Here's the assets, and here's how it's going to work out.
Wow.
And it worked out beautifully. And so because of that, even in my 60s, I finally decided I need to do that. I never had a will. I never had anything.
Yeah.
And it's simple. I mean, and I'm not saying you need to go spend a boatload. You can do it 90% of it online. Don't go to AI necessarily. But you can find forms and then just fill out the form and do what you want to do. But do so in a capacity where you've got the family with you and they all know that what you're doing is knowing, voluntary, consensual, not anybody pushing you around. Because we had a situation where one of our loved ones was in a assisted living center, and next thing we know, she says, "I'm going to go marry this guy." We're like, "No, actually, you're not. You're not."
I'm going to share a personal story. My grandmother has passed away, and so maybe in heaven she'll not pay attention. She was just shy of 102 when she passed away. In her mid-90s, she ended up in a long-distance romantic relationship with a death row inmate who had convinced her he would marry her if she would just sign everything over to him. And I'm like, what? This was like, we didn't find out until after her kids had addressed the issue. But she felt lonely, and this guy, she was not the first elderly widow that he had convinced he was going to get out of his death row sentence and come and marry them.
And if she's competent and has advice of counsel, sometimes they can do that. I feel sorry for families who do support their parents, and then suddenly something happens in an advanced age and they just give everything away. Not that we're all entitled to mom and dad's assets, but you do think that if mom and dad really were competent and knew exactly what they were doing, they would not do some of the things that I see. That's why I agree with the attorneys who say, do it while everybody's on the same page.
Here's one of the things that really stood out to me is, and this is advice from one of the attorneys, preserve the person first and then the assets.
Right.
And I really like that idea. And one of the things that that she said, this is Maureen Henry, who's a Salt Lake City attorney and a research scientist who specializes in aging issues. She talked about legacy interviews and recording those stories, right? And I know that when my mother-in-law, towards the end of her life, like, you couldn't put any value into the stories she told because so many of them were not true. Even if they maybe had a semblance of truth, so many things were not real that you just couldn't say, oh, this is the really impressive story about how grandma met grandpa. It just wasn't real anymore.
Yeah.
So this idea of recording that, it made me think of the movie The Notebook, and I mentioned it to you during the break. My husband and I watched it. It came out in 2004, and we were just sobbing, right? Because the whole story is how he sets it up for her because she has lost her memory, and it's all about how they met and fell in love and their family and all of those things. And I just think that's really lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to see. And with modern medicine, people are living longer, which means that people are going into, mental health, dementia and other symptoms more often than maybe they had in the past, because we're just living into an advanced age. And when you see someone with those conditions, it breaks your heart, because you know that they don't understand, they don't appreciate some of the things that they're doing.
So a really great article, and it makes me think, because we're getting close to retirement age, not that close, but my husband turned 65 this year, and we need to think about that. All right. Finally,
I'm going to turn 70 next year. I really need to start thinking about it. Anyway.
You should think about retirement. I don't know, maybe.
Yep.
So we're to our final segment on Inside Sources.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You might have to say farewell to your robot vacuum. It could be a Chinese spy. Stay with us.
Murphy's Law says that if your air conditioner is going to break down this summer, it's going to be when you least expect it and at the worst possible time. And for a lot of homeowners, the fear isn't just the breakdown. It's worrying about what happens next. Is this going to cost a fortune? Am I going to be pressured into replacing it? Can somebody just help me figure out what's wrong? At Any Hour Services, that's exactly what we're here for. Maybe your system just needs maintenance to help prevent breakdowns before they happen. Maybe a part failed, and a simple repair gets you back up and running quickly. Or maybe your system's getting older, repairs are adding up, and you think replacing it makes more sense. Whatever the situation, we'll walk you through your options, answer your questions, and make sure you have the information you need to make the decision that's right for your home and your budget. Maintenance, repair, or replacement, you choose what's right for you. That's how Any Hour Services works. Options, not pressure. Call Any Hour Services next time you need help with your air conditioner. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hey folks, Jay Broadbent here from Alpine Home Medical. I've been helping folks breathe easier for 29 years now. Trust me, at my age, I know a thing or two about needing a good night's sleep. Is your CPAP mask old and nasty? Are your masks, filters, or tubing from the pre-COVID era? Or just plain tired of the hassle of ordering supplies yourself? Switch to our resupply program. We handle everything. Automatic shipment straight to your door. Insurance billing and expert support. It's quick, easy, and keeps your sleep therapy on track. Doesn't matter where you got your machine from, anyone can join. Head to alpinehomemedical.com, click on the Easy Resupply button. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This is Derek Miller speaking on business. A collaborative space in Sugar House, the Neighborhood Hive, brings together local entrepreneurs, makers, and creatives, offering a shared environment where small businesses can showcase products and connect with their community. Owner and partner Tiffany Rainwater joins us with more.
At the Neighborhood Hive, we've created more than just a marketplace. We've built a community gathering space where over 60 local small businesses can grow, collaborate, and connect under one roof. Founded in 2022 by the Beanhole and Oleo Skin and Beard, after both were forced to relocate due to redevelopment, the Neighborhood Hive was created to help local entrepreneurs thrive together. Located in the heart of Sugar House, we offer artisan shopping, handcrafted goods, a coffee bar with local food and drink, events, workshops, and community experiences in one welcoming space. Every vendor is independently owned, allowing customers to directly support local makers with every purchase. Beyond retail, we host networking events, live music, classes, pop-ups, and private gatherings that strengthen our local economy and community. Come experience something uniquely local at the Little Market with a Big Heart. Learn more at theneighborhoodhive.org.
By supporting local entrepreneurs and strengthening small businesses, the Neighborhood Hive helps keep Utah's economy vibrant. Their collaborative space fosters connection, opportunity, and community growth across Sugar House and beyond. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Inside Sources.
Hey, so do you have one of those robotic vacuums, and do you like it? I actually had one. It lasted about 2 hours at our house. It was useless, and it did nothing right. Stairs. I mean, I'm sure that they.
Oh yeah, it can't do
increased
stairs.
The technology, but I mean, like it would just. We would just find it in weird places, and we finally just got rid of it.
So I have one too, and we just have it on the main level of our house. I'm on our third one, and I think 3 years, and it's dumb. My husband looks at these and says, "This is why AI will never take over the world."
Do you have a dog?
Yes, we have a dog.
Yeah,
That's a problem too. But it's tried to climb our table legs, and then it sends us an error message. It has this little robotic voice, and it says, "I'm on a cliff." Right? It's like, no, you're not. You're trying to climb the table.
Right. Do you know why we're talking about it? Because the FCC may ban them and other kinds of household robots for national security.
That seems weird to me,
They're
right?
Chinese spies.
This is a true story. This is a true story. The FCC says it's a growing threat to safety because they're especially the new versions, that they're smart enough to capture information that the United States government doesn't want captured.
And looking at a tweet from the FCC chair, it says this: the FCC has now added 2 new categories of devices to our covered list, which bans new versions from import or sale in America. Advanced robotic devices such as humanoids and quadrupeds produced in foreign countries, and power inverters produced in foreign countries. So
I'm not getting a humanoid robot anytime soon, but these robot vacuums, right, apparently they can be smart, although they're not smart enough to avoid dog poop. So I don't know about that. So, look, it's something where at some point, I mean, we talk about Alexa, right, or the Siri, right? Hey, Alexa. Hey, Siri. They do seem to listen to us even when you're not asking them, right? Because you can be having a conversation, and then all of a sudden you're having ads show up on your social media.
And the weirdest
stuff you
thing,
talked about.
I know. It's
so we are being spied on.
Maybe not in the worst way, though.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is the worst way. I don't know. Look, the FCC says protect the homeland, build in America, safe, secure supply chains.
Your vacuum cleaner is sending info to China about what's on your floor.
Well, they're not really going to care about my floor.
A lot of dog hair.
Okay, so I do have some fun facts. Today is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Hooray! So there's got to be some deals out there. I didn't even think to look, actually. But National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. And then I have some fun facts for things that happened on this day, which is August 4th.
Chocolate chips. I can't stand them. My favorite ice cream, mint chocolate chip. I
Really?
don't know why.
So interesting.
I can't eat a chocolate chip, but if it's frozen.
Well, you don't have to eat it plain.
I don't know.
You like them frozen, though?
I don't like chocolate chip cookies.
Interesting.
But when they're frozen, they're yummy. Anyway,
Okay. Do you like chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream?
I like any cookie dough
Okay.
that's in anything, yes.
Okay, interesting. All right, so it was on August 4th, 1790 that the U.S. Coast Guard was established. So they've been around for a long, long time.
Yep.
It is on this day in 1821 that the Saturday Evening Post published its first edition. So it used to be a thing. It's not a thing anymore. But that was where Norman Rockwell had a lot of his paintings. They were originally the Saturday Evening Post. It'd be like the cover art.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So we are super familiar with the Red Cross. It was on this day in 1870 that it was formed in Britain as the British National Society for Aid to the Sick and Wounded in War. Now we call it the Red Cross. Clara Barton.
Years and years ago when I wanted to be on the ski patrol, we didn't have all that. Some of the EMT and other systems we have now. We got our training through the American Red Cross. Yeah, that's where I got my basic EMT.
So it was on this day in 1890 that Barbara Armstrong is born. She was a lawyer and the first female law professor at a law school of a major university, but she was really an advocate for social insurance, what she called social insurance, and she's considered the architect of the U.S. Social Security system.
Oh, wow.
But you didn't know that.
Right. What year was she born?
1890,
wow.
Believe it or not. So it was also on this day in 1914 that the U.S. proclaimed neutrality in World War I, and they stayed neutral until they didn't, and then until they weren't.
Right.
But look, we talked about immigration, and I talked about the Bracero program, and here is a fun fact. It was in 1942 that the U.S. and Mexico signed the Mexican Farm Labor Agreement, also known as the Bracero program.
What are the chances of that? We just talked about it. That's
It's
so weird.
serendipitous. So thank you, John Curtis. I bet he didn't know that either when he proposed his bill, or he would have waited one day and done it today. The largest guest worker program in U.S. history, the Bracero program, lasted until 1964, and that's the one I told you where union workers went to JFK and say, hey, these people coming in are stealing our jobs.
Yeah. Wow.
So 1942. In 1944, on August 4th, sadly, this was the day that Anne Frank and her family were captured. So
And we never knew what happened to her. I mean, we know she died, but I mean, we don't know I don't know.
I think maybe we do know, but
Yeah.
we know her dad lived, and it was her dad that preserved her diary.
Yeah.
So it was on this day in 1955 that President Eisenhower authorized $46 million for the construction of a new CIA headquarters. And I want to say this, it's a happy birthday, 65, for former President Barack Obama, who was born this day, 1961, in Hawaii.
Legally in the United States.
Legally in the United
What's up
States.
with that? I bet he has a birth certificate that can prove it. He's younger than I am.
Yeah, and he's just a couple of months older than my husband. It was on this day, this is a really sad one, it was on this day in 1964 that the remains of 3 slain civil rights workers were found in Mississippi. So they were going door to door trying to get people to register to vote, and they were killed. I think if I remember correctly, there were 2 black workers and 1 white worker, and they were buried like in a shallow grave or something, and this was the day that they found them.
There was a great movie with Gene Hackman, Mississippi Burning, about that incident. He was an FBI agent who he did what he needed to do to solve that, and he was completely outside of the boundaries of the law. But it was one of those means to an end kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting movie.
Okay, and then I have one joke for you before you do your closing arguments. So why did the robber take a shower before he went and robbed the bank?
No idea.
He wanted to make a clean getaway. All right, closing
Good
arguments.
heavens, how do I follow that? Hey, I want to talk about a couple of things that we spent some segments on, including some work by our own 2 senators and our Utah legislature, and that's the immigration issue. It's a hot topic issue, and I think that it was understandably the overwhelming reason why we have President Trump in office, because he seized on an issue that was very important to a lot of Americans, and that was the immigration problem. And I think that we've done a lot to stop what was a problem with immigration, and maybe it's time that we listen to some of these senators, our own Lee and Curtis, and say, okay, if we can seal the borders and make sure that there's not a lot of illegal immigration, we can still find a path for people to come into this country and find work. I know from my own experience, because I represent some people that own a restaurant chain, that it's hard to get employees. They absolutely cannot find employees because they used immigrants, and it's caused them a huge grief. If you've tried to get work done on your house, if you've tried to get landscaping done, if you've tried to get roofing done on your house, as we've tried all these things recently, people are telling us, I don't have any help. We don't have any help. Well, it's time to get some help. I think it really is a time when we can work on a system, guest worker, whatever you want to call it. Curtis's idea is genius. And that is to say, let's get some workers here. Let's keep tabs on them, whatever we need to do. If they commit an offense and it's a deportable offense, by all means, get them out of here. But let's do it in a organized and a confined capacity. And I love Lee's thing too. I mean, if you're born here, or even if you're not born here, if you're adopted, you live here, that should be a path to immigration. Adoption is as important as any other way that you get a child. And I've never done it, but you have. And I think the people that I know that adopted a child don't treat that child any different than a child that was born to them. So, these things are good. And I hope that our administration, I hope that our courts, and it seems that our legislature, both houses, are going to start looking at some immigration things. It's time to maybe take a step back, recognize that sealing the borders was great. We've done that. Now let's find a path for citizenship for people who really want to work and who really want to do a good thing and who are not taking jobs away. Because let's face it, they're not taking jobs away. I know that from my own experience. People don't want some of these jobs, even high school kids, like you talked about. Hard to find somebody that's willing to work for what some of these people are willing to work for. If they want to come here and work and are willing to do what they need to work, let's provide an avenue for that. So good for our senators.
Thanks for your closing arguments. Coming up next on Utah's New News, Box Elder County and Kevin O'Leary, the man behind the Stratos data